Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SimPlay Motorsport here for our weekly dose of pro action. We are back after the shenanigans of last week, where the Xbox users basically couldn't do anything. They couldn't save a setup, they couldn't save wheel settings, their wheel was going full lock to the right and then bouncing with such force feedback that they couldn't even turn it straight. We are back. The update has been fixed, it has been done, it has been sorted, and it is time to get out for some pro action. Good evening to everybody in the stream and on the channel at the moment. I'm Mathew Duffin, joined in the commentary box tonight by my partner in crime for most of the season. He's turned into a part-timer because he misses Laguna Seca. It's Kelly Davis. Kelly, good evening.
Good evening, yes. How are you, Matt? It is good to be back, and yeah, unfortunate problems last week. That is the joy. Although sim racing is brilliant, the powers that be haven't got it all sorted out just yet, beyond our control. But we're back, and we're here at Paul Ricard.
We are here at Paul Ricard, and it's going to be an interesting night's worth of racing. Very I don't know what to say. It's not a difficult circuit. The circuit's it's difficult to keep your eyes on which layout we're doing because there's so many lines and different variants. But it's going to be difficult on the tyres. A lot of discussion whether to go long, whether to do the full fuel and splash and dash, whether to take tyres. This will be the talking point this evening, I think, Kelly. The good news is, with you missing Laguna, by the way, you are back for Snetterton, so that'll be a bonus.
Oh, well, that's great news. Yeah, the tyres tonight, I think you're right, Matt. I'm not going to name any names, but there was a couple of drivers we've spoke to. One particularly confident that he wasn't going to take tyres, and a couple particularly confident that they would need to take tyres. So definitely between the drivers, they're unsure what to do. So I mean, that's going to make for a bit of strategy in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think this is the strategy has been the big talking point, hasn't it, of the season. I think it's circuits like this, maybe Valencia by the time we get to Valencia for the penultimate round of the season. They're the two that, in Spain, warm conditions there, here, warm conditions. You look at the nature of these corners, I think tyres could be an option. We'll see who does it. We've got our back-to-back night races coming up, Suzuka and Laguna, and then we're at Snetterton and Donny, where it could be 30-odd degrees, it could be 10 degrees, it could be rain, could be sun. It's England, we never know. So I think here in Valencia are the two real talking points for tyres. I think everywhere else, you're probably going to be looking at, especially the night races, Kelly, you're probably not going to choose to take them. Cooler temperatures. Here in Valencia, I think, are the big talking points.
I think as the season goes on, Matt, and the way that we've changed the format this season with the 70-minute race is making people think about tyres. But I think maybe the admins need to look again for the next season because it's been more of a talking point than it has an actual problem. And again, I don't think the tyres wear out quick enough. I think we personally, I think we need another 10 minutes or so on top of the race to bring fuel in as a strategy again as well. But Paul Ricard is slippery. I know there's a lot of people, including myself. I was going to do this as a pro-am race, but I just couldn't make the car work. So incredibly slippery I found Paul Ricard, and I know a few other drivers have really struggled to dial their cars into this circuit. Certainly, a couple of McLaren drivers that I've spoke to were really struggling with grip levels around here, Matt. So is it going to be harder on tyres? Yes, possibly. If you're sliding, you're wearing tyres. So this might be the track where where we do see different tyre options making a difference. But we'll see. We'll see
indeed. Good evening to Chris, Rob Smith, Audio Sport, Gary Clobble in the chat. Rob Smith saying that his tyres were shot last night. Definitely glad that he changed them. So this is going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on. We've got Williams currently stopped on the start. The other talking point is this huge bop we've got today. So we're looking at the Lamborghini, only gains 3 kilograms, so not a lot. Can you spectate Clace, please? We'll get to Clace in just one moment. We'll view him in a moment. Good evening to Peaceful Stepdad and good morning to X3 TPO. So we're looking at 3 for the Lamborghini. The Mustang gains 16, which is a big gainer. 5 for the Mercedes-Benz. The Honda of Kieran O'Reilly. You can only gain or lose a maximum of 40 kilograms either way, right?
Yeah.
The Honda loses 38 kilograms. That would, to me, say that the Honda's not very good around here. But O'Reilly's driving it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it could be absolutely fantastic. Going to be an interesting one. We've been asked to show Clay, so there we are. He's on the screen now in the 444 McLaren 720S Evo. Who?
Clace, what is he doing? He's sixth.
7th at the moment, 8/10 off of the fastest lap. And the thing I like about practice, Kelly, is there's a lot of different fuels that you see on board in the practice session. And we have seen a lot of different fuel loads on board during this practice session. Let me tell you, it's been an interesting one to see. And I think drivers over this last hour have maybe run a short fuel and a long fuel run on a set of tyres each. Because don't forget, the drivers are limited to 10 tyres. Now, I think personally, they should go down to 6 or 8. The drivers have got 10 tyres.
I would support that. It would suit me, to be fair. But yeah, I would support that. It would suit
you. I think it's just bring another bit of strategy into play for them free practice. So drivers can use, if you think about it, race one, if you use 2 sets, quali, the only quali of the night, that's a set. You don't really go out in that 5-10 minute practice in the middle unless you want to make some changes, and 1 set for race 1. That's 5 tyres if you do practice 2. So that gives you 5 tyres to play with in the first practice, right? That gives you the option to do a 50-50, a 60-40 type practice run, and then try a couple of laps with the fuel. You can look at the data of what your tyres have done after so many laps. I think that tonight is what drivers have done, and that's going to have decided whether they're going to... This is all feature race we're talking. We're not talking sprint. Sprint will just be a run to the line.
Sprint is sprint. Yeah,
but I think we've got a session in this practice where if people have gone a short, a lower fuel run and then a full fuel run, I think drivers have then looked at the tyre data and gone, and they've made their mind up there for what they're going to do tonight.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope strategy is in play tonight. How do we feel about the Paul Ricard circuit? Ourselves personally, Matt, yourself, how do you feel about it?
Not a lover of it.
I quite like it. What I've always said with Paul Ricard is the problem is all these stripy lines. When you watch it, it can be a little bit hard work to watch. Makes my eyes go funny. It's a bit hard work to watch. I think it's a better track to drive than it is to spectate, personally. But yeah, the last section is all a bit. I think is a little bit Mickey Mouse. A couple of the corners are very much hurry up and wait corners, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. And the last corner is just horrendous.
I'd rather be at Manicourt, put it that way.
Oh, absolutely, every day of the week and twice on Sunday, Manicourt, what a great track. Wouldn't we love to go there for anything, great track. I mean, a Formula One favourite for years and years, and I'm just reminiscing. Coulthard gesturing to Michael Schumacher, telling he was number 1 as he passed him into the hairpin, and even Schumacher crashing in the line on qualifying, because I think it was. Now, I might be wrong, and any of the motorsport fans just kind of pick me up on this one. With the original layout, I think you could hop the last curb, was a straighter line to the finish line, but it would put you dangerously offline and into the pit wall, and it might have been Schumacher that was greedy on the last corner, got across the line and then crashed.
If I'm correct as well, Manicourt was the place in qualifying where Schumacher, I want to say Damon Hill and maybe Heinz-Harald Fretson all did the same lap.
Yeah, you might be right on that one.
And it went down to like the 4th or 5th decimal point after to separate them on the grid. So that's what Manicourt brings. Paul Ricard, this is where we're at. This is where we're at. We've got a new driver on the grid, Rosalski, in the BMW M4, car number 48, making his debut this evening. And a man who made his debut many, many moons ago at this track is out of John Gooday. He's making his 200th race appearance and asked if he could go into the livery that he used to run, or the colour scheme that he used to run back in the day. The black and purple is what he's representing tonight for his 200th race mark.
Oh, brilliant, excellent. I hope he shows us another masterclass in how to reverse up the pit lane, because that would be nice to mark his 200 as well.
I think you're going to struggle to do that one, seeing as it's such an open pit lane, and by the time you turn in, there's the line. Although, let's talk about the pit lane. Let's
talk about it.
It's a great topic. If Mike Matthews is listening, he's coming around the final corner. Mike, please go in the pits and demonstrate to our viewers what you have to do. So as you come around this right-hand bend here, you pick your braking zone up for the left-hand. Mike runs a little deeper the first part of the corner. tucks it back in. No, and then he goes to the final corner. This is hopefully where Mike gets it right. You've got to stay. He's not going to bother. Cheers, Mike.
He's not listening to you.
Yeah, let's see if Matt Wright's practising it. I don't think he will be, and if Dan's listening, let's hope Dan's practising it, shall we? But Matt Wright's not bothered either. So Dan Davis, what are you going to do? Dan's going to show us. You have to make sure you are tight out of that final corner and be on the inside of that pit line. You cannot cross it. You gain a heck of time crossing that pit line. And as Dan Davis demonstrated there, the minute you turn into the pit lane, that line for the limiter is right there, right on the edge.
It's a tricky one. What also throws into play is you can't cheat the last corner because there's a real heavy track limits marker on the last corner, and there's also, which you don't see very often, if you cut it in qualifying, it will also take your next sector or next lap, will it not?
Now, me and Mike was on about this in the week, and there was a few where it had said, I had one in Ginetta testing saying that I'd done 2 kilometres over the speed limit, and it's like, we're on a racetrack, there is no speed limit. We think it's the penultimate corner, so you know that kind of double apex left-hander before the final one? We think it's if you've been too greedy on that curb that it invalidates your next lap. Now, I find this annoying, because I assume this is what you had earlier, where you was basically...
The left-hander?
Yes.
Before you go into the final corner? Okay, right.
Me and Mike cut that twice and had that message pop up on his screen in practice on Monday. Okay. When he didn't cut that little bit, the message didn't pop up. So we think it's that. We could be totally wrong. But now, here's the thing I want to say. It does happen. It's happened to a lot of people this week in testing. Langley, it's happened to quite a few times in testing for the Ginettas as well. Here's the thing I want to mention, though. You've come out the final corner, and it says... you should only be doing 140 kilometres, you've done 142. You've not taken track limits. So you've been penalised for going fast on a racetrack. Now, if this isn't, cutting that left-hander, why has the game got a programme to criticise you for... well, hang on, normally people aren't that quick through this corner. So we're going to have to invalidate your next lap time. Either way, it is what it is.
It's not something I've seen on the rest of the game.
I've only seen it one other track, and that is the Red Bull Ring.
Where on the Red Bull Ring?
When you come out the final corner.
Right.
Now, admittedly, we know what the Red Bull Ring's like. You could probably take so much speed through the penultimate corner, run wide, invalidate that lap, but think, well, I'll carry this speed because I'll go for my next lap from here and be a bit quicker through. That's where I'm thinking it's doing it. You know what I mean? You've took too much speed on a prep lap that it's gone, hang on a minute, you've 30 seconds. You've took the liberties there, so we're going to do your next lap in. So I've seen it at the Red Bull Ring once. We'll see what happens. 15-minute race, we're going to get the poll out now. Overtaker, DeBont, Clouden, other. Comment who you think is going to win this one. See, it's a strange one, Kelly, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and we might see this thing. We might see it tonight. We might not. Anyway, back to the racing. As you say, the poll's up. Who's going to win this first one? There's a couple of big names missing, Matt. Tardock still with broken hand, or still out, and no Sylph tonight either.
No Sylph tonight. Cairns has had an accident, so we hope he has a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
Hoopert is under the weather. He put in the Discord tonight. He's going to try and race, but he's now. He was under the weather, so there's no Hoopert. Van Zil's got a power cut. He lives in South Africa. I know they have certain power outages at times.
Okay, yeah.
They're having one at the moment.
Well, that's not good, right? Okay.
So that's a problem for there. Skunky not here tonight. No Sny, no Hey-Ho, and no DeHoff. We have got a new driver as well called Jake Stratton. He'll be hopefully with us next week for his debut. But I think we've still got a good grid. Rizalski slipped straight into that Platinum category, hence why he's at the back of Platinum. New drivers are at the back. If you're wondering why McGowan in Platinum is at the back, he was running late for race 1, so he may have missed it, and therefore if he'd have missed the start, he wasn't going to join until race 2. He's managed to get back in time, so he has to go to the back of the grid. That is why he's back there. There has been no glitches, nothing else. But we are Van Zyl down, and I'm trying to work out, because we only have 23, so it is only Van Zyl who we are currently missing. while we're doing it, let's go through a quick grid order run, shall we? Don't forget, from Van Zyl up will all be promoted. Let's get through this grid order. Pole position then is Overtaker from that of De Bont. It's been that way for a couple of weeks now. Mazzano, they went toe-to-toe back there. Row 2 is Jamal Clouden, and that of Carlos going... sorry, of Dan Davis. It's saying Carlos on my screen, but Jamal Clouden and Dan Davis going toe-to-toe. Then it's Carlos alongside Ben Ruck, P5 and P6. After that will then be Williams and O'Reilly, the two championship protagonists, going at it on row number 4. Rozalski will be at the back of Platinum, and then ahead of Steve Millington, who leads the gold category away from P10. Stardog and Clace find themselves 11th and 12th on the grid. It is then Cardno and Ramsell who find themselves 13th and 14th as we come through the order. Rob Smith and Michael Harris will then be alongside each other, the Utopia Motorsport drivers together on the grid. John Gooday will go with Patrick Ledger from 17th and 18th spot before Hibbs is now promoted up into that 19th place with no Van Zyl. Hibbs will now be alongside Mike Matthews, with Matt Wright no longer at the back on his own. He will be alongside McGowan down the order. And like we said, we've got an interesting race. Obviously John Gooday's 200th race, but a few other stats, fans out there. Kelly, I know you're one of them.
I love a stat.
Lamborghini need 3 podiums tonight. That'll be their 250th podium at SimPlay Motorsport, and that is all I've got. No, sorry, that's me, and I'm not racing tonight. So just double checking everywhere else. Yeah, no, so just John Gooday, and then the Lamborghini is the 2 stats I've got for you for tonight.
Well, I got all excited about lots of stats you're going to tell me, and that's all you had.
Yeah, sorry for that.
Okay.
We move on.
Where's who gone?
No, we move on. We've come down from the stats.
I thought you said I've gone. Where have you gone? Okay. Oh, good. Good evening to you in the chats. We got Marty Carnes in there. Watch out for... how do you pronounce his name?
Rozalski.
Rozalski, we'll get to it. He's very quick. Well, I'm sitting on board with him because I do like to sit at the back of the Platinum group for the start of the race so I can see what's going on. So I'm on board with him. So we'll see on his SimPlay debut what he can do. Well, I'm excited to see what he can do tonight. So good evening, and Gary Carble saying yes, he had it with the thing we were saying about the thing he had at the Red Bull Ring as well. So it's not just us, Matt.
We're at the final corner. We're coming down the start straight, and we are about, for the first time this evening, to get underway. It's round 15 here at SimPlay Motorsport. It's green and go, and Rob Ramsell's already picking himself up a drive-through penalty. Jamal Clouden and Dan Davis have got away very well from the second row of the grid, and Clouden's going up the inside of De Bont. He's already into second place. Dan Davis may fancy a look on the inside of De Bont as well. Gets it done there on the outside of Clouden. Will that leave the door open for De Bont to come back through? No, it doesn't. Overtaker's charged away, and Dan may fancy going with him. Jamal just losing out here, and Dan Davis gets through on the outside line into turn 2 and manages to hang on into turn 3, just dropping down the order a little bit. Everybody looks like they've got away quite cleanly. Millington has dropped down the order. Rob Ramsell, who was out of position, he's side by side with Patrick Ledger coming through the first sector. They come now. Track limits will be another talking point tonight, and Ramsell moves up the order once again, but it's Overtaker out front, and he's got his old adversary chasing him down.
Absolutely, Dan's looked quick around here. Ben Rook had an absolute shocker. Didn't think anything particularly happened. Just got hung out to dry in all the wrong places, and put him back 3 or 4 places there after all that. But certainly the net winner there was Dan going forward quite a lot. So he's got, as you said, his old adversary to hunt down. Rolowski went forward a couple of places, and was quite tentative into turn 1, but you'd understand that. His first night at SimPlay, you don't know what everyone else is going to do, but he's made a good start.
Yeah, he's just gone round the outside of O'Reilly at the quick right-hand corner. That Honda, like we said, very underweighted tonight, 38 kilograms. It's also showing how much it might struggle tonight. Your championship leader, few battles happening in the background. Cardno side by side with John Gooday looking up the inside, which should give John the little inside line. No, Cardno's managed to hang on to that one. That's put Rob Smith side by side with John Gooday. Patrick Ledger just waiting in the wings just behind. Rob Smith going going up the inside, penultimate corner, gets that move done. John's going to try and come back at him into the final corner, gets up the inside, Rob gives him the room. John, though, has been compromised there, gets a horrible run out, and he's already darted into the pit lane. So has DeBont, so has O'Reilly, and Rob Ramsell in for his drive-through penalty. Patrick Ledger now, though, as they've all coming across the line, going side by side with that. It's not Steve Millington, sorry, that's with Hibbs. Millington, though, is side by side with Harris. Up the inside, he's going to look. Harris to the outside at turn 1. He'll have the inside for turn 2. Michael Harris had a great week at Misano, and Millington right round the outside at turn 2 hangs on to P12.
Absolutely. DeBont jumped into the pits early. O'Reilly jumped in now. I'm not surprised at that, Matt. He's probably trying for some clean air, see what he can do in this Honda. We think he's going to struggle with the Honda this evening, so we'll see what he can do. But went for the early pit stop to try and get it out of the way. Otherwise, Williams is doing his usual thing of being the widest Mercedes ever, currently in P4, and Clouden with the fastest lap at the moment.
Just watching the rest of that Steve Wright, Michael Harris battle. Steve Wright got through, and Harris on the back foot. That then cost him another place to Mike Matthews down the order. Like you say, Jamal Clouden fastest lap of the race, and Williams, who I tell you what, shake and bake, Ricky Bobby style, this with Carlos down the back straight. Carlos may slingshot up the inside, thinks better of it. That Mercedes, good bit of power on the front of that. Watch out for them little markers. That'll be the track limit warning. If you clip them markers, you will be in trouble. It's track limits galore around this place. But at the minute, it is overtaken from Dan from Clouden. Clouden's lost his fastest lap. No, he hasn't. It's just come back up purple on my screen. Clouden, though, within a second to Dan. Dan's actually lost a bit of time to Overtaker.
Yeah, Overtaker's stretching his legs a little bit. They're not bothering him at the moment. He's gone and clear for the moment. But Jamal is just in waiting for Dan, and Williams is moving forward. And I thought Williams was going very wide on a couple of the corners, but it's not. It's just the lines that he's taking. Dan's diving to the pits.
Dan's gone into the pit lane there, so he's clearly trying to look for some free air, maybe, if possible. So we'll keep our eyes on where O'Reilly and DeBont are. They'll be the two to watch as they come through. McGowan has jumped Matt Wright and John Gooday in the pits. John Goodale sideways, hangs on to it very well. Just went in a little too hot. And where John is, it's that long right-hander, Kelly, a hurry up and wait corner. Very easy for the rear to go light round there.
Absolutely, and I said about it being very slippery around here. We're going to see some loose rear ends tonight, that's for certain sure. And track limits, as we haven't really said enough about track limits. They are brutal round here.
On board with Harris once again, who's been overtaken by Mike a few laps ago. He's lost out to Mike a little bit this lap. He's gained on Mike a little bit this lap, but he's got Clace with him as well, right on the rear, just under half a second to each other. Harris has a little wiggle coming onto the back straight. This is down for 10th and 11th place. They've not pitted yet. Ramsell, obviously down the order, hasn't pitted. He had that drive-through penalty. Dan Davis, did he come out ahead of everybody? He did indeed, but he has got, I think it's DeBont, not far behind him. No, it's Rob Ramsell who's not far behind him, but Rob obviously hasn't pitted.
Williams and Clouden going absolutely side by side along the long straight, but Williams tucks back in just before they get to the right-hander. The Mercedes was gaining, but topped out, and then the McLaren was just able to go with him. Carlos in this battle as well. He was catching the two of them in the slipstream, but there was no clear advantage on straight line speed. They both kind of topped out, which was interesting.
Got Mike Matthews now on the back of Hibbs as well. So there's a few battles developing here, Kelly, in this 15-minute sprint race. 9.5 minutes left. And Mike Matthews trying to push his way forward in this race. Go as far forward as he can. We've got Ledger close to the back of Cardinal. Like Kelly said, we've got this fight for second place, which will now be for the net race lead at the moment. Overtaker in the pits. That'll be reacting to Dan, I assume. And we'll see what happens there. Clace, I was going to about say side by side with Harris, but Harris and Hibbs have decided to dart into the pit lane. And at the minute, Dan under no threat from DeBont. DeBont still not close to Ramsell as of yet. Rozalski stayed ahead of O'Reilly by a comfortable margin. Millington and Rob Smith lost out to Matt Wright and John Gooday with their earlier stops. But Clouden really under pressure at the minute from Williams.
I was just about to say that. Williams is giving Clouden a hard time. He's all over him like a cheap suit. Has a dive to the inside on that tight right-hander, but couldn't make it stick there. I would have thought his best bet is on the straight line speed, but you've got to get contraction. Clouden's gone wide. That's compromised him all the way down the straight now. Let's see what Williams can do. They both run a little bit wide. Williams is in the slip. Has he got enough power? Watch out for Carlos as well, because Carlos is following this along and trying to stay with them. They're topping out, look.
Keep your eyes on that a second, Kelly. Kelly just jumped to overtake her momentarily. He has come out, but Dan Davis right on the rear bumper of Overtaker. So we'll get to see a battle develop there. But let's go back to Williams, who's looking up the inside of Jamal Clouden into the right-hand bend. They go side by side together. Carlos is with them as well. Little wide from Jamal, has to bring it back on right in front of the nose of that of Carlos before he gets a track limit warning. And Williams takes the lead of this race.
Carlos gave Williams a little bump on the way into that corner, and I don't know if that forced Williams' hand a little bit to push in and take that manoeuvre. Clouden was quick to react if he did, because I don't know if Williams was actually going to try it there, and the little tap from from Carlos gave Williams the nudge to just follow it through.
Dan was just having a look on the back of Overtaker there, and we've got De Bont, who's on the back of Ramsel. Didn't get past him on the straight, though. Ramsel very, very wide. That'll definitely pick up a track limit warning there, and he lets De Bont go. Knows De Bont isn't his race. Down the order, Harris is on the back of Matt Wright, so Harris come out the pits behind Matt Wright and separated him and John Gooday. Gooday's now going to have a look up the inside in towards a long right-hander, gets that inside line. He'll be tight on exit, not always the best line through, but he's got the job done. And can Harris get back underneath here? He does, but it'll put him on the outside line. And John, just chopping the nose off there of Harris. It looked like a little bit. And John up the order, one more position. De Bont ahead of Ramsel, as we said. And Overtaker and Dan going at it. Jamal Clouden in the pits. Long stop for Jamal. He's clearly lost a lot of time because these two are flying through. And De Bont, Rosalski and O'Reilly not far behind. Clouden's now on his way out the pits. There he is. He comes out. There's De Bont. Where is Rosalski? In the background, Rosalski will also get past him. What about O'Reilly into turn one? Not enough for O'Reilly to get into turn one. But Dan and Overtake here going at it once again.
Yeah, they definitely are going at it. Dan seems a little more confident on the brakes than Overtaker, but Overtaker has got track position and the grunt of that Mustang. We'll see how we get on. I don't know if you're on board with them. I'm on board with Dan at the moment as they come round this right-hander. Now you need to get the power down, and the traction is so important here to have a run down this back straight. Overtaker with good traction from that Mustang really picks up out of the corners and gaps the Lamborghini. Now we'll see if the Lamborghini starts to get into that slipstream. It was certainly towards the end before Williams was on the back of Clouden's McLaren, but these are two very different cars. Looks like the Mustang has got more than enough straight line speed to hold off the Lamborghini down the straights. They both run to the edge of the track, as Matt said. As long as you don't take those cones out, you're within track limits. Interesting corner, this one. You pull out to take a late apex. The exit is very tight, easy to run over the curb, and very much a hurry up and wait corner, this one. Need patience. Dan closes in under braking. This is where Dan is more confident on the brakes than Overtaker. So it's a balance between handling and braking and straight line speed, this one, Matt.
Indeed it is, and I was just going to say that Overtaker got such a launch onto that back straight that he put the gap to Dan, but look at how much Dan has closed in on Overtaker through this final sector. Problem is he's got a bit of a stretch here now with Mike Matthews into the pit lane. They've got a bit of a stretch before Dan and Overtaker reach top speed. Looks like Mercedes isn't topping out as quick as the Lamborghini, so that's a bonus for Overtaker over Dan. He just can carry that extra bit of speed up through the straights. We've got then Ben on the back of Carlos. That's 0.4 of a second further forward. We've also got Clouden and Rosalski and O'Reilly. O'Reilly with the fastest lap of the race, having a bit of a ding-dong here. This is for 14th, 15th and 13th place, with Ramsel in front of them as well. Rob Ramsel yet to pit, being a bit of a trolley train at the moment, as O'Reilly was looking to the outside of Clouden. Rosalski now outside to inside on Ramsel. Ramsel could and should have that inside line for the next part of the corner. Clouden was off the circuit. Rosalski right around the outside. Little wiggle on exit. Rosalski and Ramsel still side by side. Great bit of racing here from these two. This has opened the door for O'Reilly, though, to possibly have a look. That Honda's just going to struggle in a straight line compared to these two. And O'Reilly gets ahead of Clouden, but the rest of them stay as they were.
Ben Rook having a look at Carlos down the main straight. He tried round the outside of the long, fast right-hander, but Carlos just held his line, and Ben ran out a little bit wide. Carlos got back in front of him, so nice patient driving from Carlos. Let Ben make his own mistakes. They're both catching the back of Williams. Williams dives to the pits, so's Ben Rook, both in the pits. So Carlos will be your race leader for the moment.
He will indeed, down to Matt Wright, who's on the back of Hibbs, with John Gooday still there. Gooday stuck to Matt Wright like a bit of glue at the moment, but Wrighty trying to get pass out of Hibbs. So far, Harris is looking around the outside of John Gooday down the back of the field. Not going to work round there for Harris. John has a look at the inside of Matt Wright. Again, not going to work. That right-hander, everybody takes such a different line that it looks like they're going to make a move and don't. John now up the inside of Matt Wright into the left-hander. Can't get that one done. And that's the problem with some of these corners in this last sector, Kelly. Everybody takes a different line. You've just seen it here between Harris, Wright and that of Gooday. All three of them took a different line through them corners. And it's all going to play out into the final corner. Harris to the outside of John. Goes a little wider on entry to get a better exit. It kind of worked for him. It pulled him a little closer to the rear end, but not at all. Ramsell into the pit, so he's been cleared. Cardno as well is into the pit, so he's now been cleared. And at the minute, John's coming under pressure from Michael Harris, who was having a look all over the place. They avoid Cardno coming out the pit lane. Harris going to look up the inside of Gooday into turn one. This will be favourative of Gooday, though, because he's got the inside for turn two. And job done. He stays ahead. But Harris is looking racy, as is Matt Wright on the back of Hibbs. Just going to stick with this fight until the back straight a moment, because Harris is all over the back of John.
Yes, indeed. I'm still watching Dan and Overtaker, and nothing has really changed, to be honest. Overtaker has the legs on the straight. Dan catches up in the corners. So it's a little bit status quo between those two at the moment, although Dan is still right there behind him. O'Reilly putting the moves on Rolski. Well, I'll get there in a minute. Take me a couple of weeks, but we'll get there. O'Reilly sitting on the outside, and Williams just behind. And O'Reilly makes the chop in front of him, gets there before the corner, nice and clean, and gets the job done. And that has brought Williams right into play. Although Williams has just gone hugely wide round the outside of those cones, that'll be a track limits for sure. And he's just lost out to Clouden as well. That running wide has just brought Clouden back on the inside.
Matt Wright gone up the inside at the quick right-hander on Hibbs, and then behind that, Michael Harris has got John Gooday now done as we enter the final lap of the race.
Yes, indeed. This scrap between Clouden and Williams still going on. Clouden managed to stay in front of Williams, was on the optimum line. And, Williams just gave Clouden a bit of a nudge. Williams has just backed off out of that, which has cost him a place to Ledger. Ledger driving well tonight. Seems to be quick tonight. And mixing it up with the Platinum boys. Is he? Yes, he is.
He is, indeed. Yeah. Carlos has come out the pit lane. Yeah. He's off the limiter. So let's see where Carlos is. We're on board with Ledger and Williams at the moment. Carlos is... where is he? Because he's actually off the limiter. He looks like he's well up the road. Indeed he is. He's behind when we get to see a car, Ben Rook. So Williams has had a shocker in this race. And Carlos has also Carlos had a brilliant one, so I'm not sure what happened to Williams in this one. Back down the order, Matt Wright now being attacked by Michael Harris right round the outside of turn two of Harris, stays ahead. Then you've got Gooday and Cardno. Where is Hibbs gone? I think Wright's had a problem because Hibbs is a little further up the road. He's attacking that of Clace compared to Matt Wright. So Wright's had a problem somewhere. He did get ahead of Hibbs. He's now dropped back behind him in this race. Mike Matthews, by the way, dropped down to 21st. So what a shocking pit stop for Mike Matthews in that one. But it is the final lap. We are coming towards the end. I've just jumped on the drive by accident. Overtaker onto the back straight. Is he going to be able to defend from Dan in this final sector?
Oh yes, Dan closes up in the last along the fast straight, but I think that was Dan's best opportunity there. The the Lamborghini just hasn't got the straight line speed to be able to take advantage of the Mustang. I think Dan's going to have to deal with second place there. I think Overtaker has got this all under control. Not too many opportunities left. Overtaker looks like he goes wise, picks up the apex. Horrible exit of that corner generally. So just got a couple of corners to go. Reasonably easy ones to defend. So Overtaker defends the inside line over the last Dan taking a very wide line for the last corner, and that's not going to do him any good whatsoever. Overtaker is going to win this one. He's going to take another sprint victory.
It's another sprint victory. It's 3 in a row for Overtaker. Dan second with DeBont very close in third. Ben Rook P4 with Carlos in fifth place. O'Reilly fastest lap and P6. Rizalski P7 from Jamal Clouden in eighth. Williams got ahead of Ledger 9th and 10th. McGowan was 11th. Hibbs, oh, it's all gone off here because John Gooday, who was behind all of these cars, is now going to cross the line P12. So what has happened at the back of this pack? In fact, no, Matt Wright was P12, John Gooday P13, then Hibbs, then Clace, then Harris, then Stardog, Cardno, Rob Smith, Steve Millington, Mike Matthews, and we just to wait for Rob Ramsell. But I wonder what happened at the end there, because Hibbs looked comfortable with Clace and it's all gone and changed around. John was at the back of that queue. Yeah, massively missed something there. Either way, I'm sure John Gooday's no, I'm sure John and Matt Wright's not going to complain on getting a few places.
Oh, no, absolutely. So that was an action-packed first race, as it normally is round here, here at SimPlay, that is. So, we've got to take a breath and pull ourselves together.
Yeah. qualifying, Ben Rook has just started his flying lap. Sorry, me and Kelly was just having a conversation off air. But we have started qualifying. We are back for the start of it. Ben Rook is the first man on a lap here. And we've just had a good chuckle because, Kelly, you've just found a fun fact you'd like to tell the chat.
Yeah. We'll do it very quickly before we get into the sharp-ended qualifying. On this day in history, Mathew, this day in history being 7th of August, and we're talking about 83, Niki Lauda finished the 1983 German Grand Prix in 5th place in his McLaren Ford, but was disqualified because he embarrassingly had to reverse back up the pit lane after driving past his garage during a pit stop. So he was disqualified for reversing up the pit lane. And just to reiterate, John Gooday, 201st race.
Catalonia.
I don't know, just the two came together. I don't know why.
If you missed Catalonia, John Gooday spun on pit entry, they had to reverse into the pits to try and get it turned around and got disqualified for it. You couldn't think of any other many other better drivers than
drivers
Niki Lauda,
to beat. Yeah. I can compare John Gooday now to Niki Lauda.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic. Yeah. So this day in history, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. I'm sure he'll, when he watches the stream back, or if he's listening now, I'm sure he'll think, it's less embarrassing now because Niki Lauda's done it.
Niki Lauda's done it.
Yeah. Either way, we're coming to the back end of the first flying lap. Ben Rook is on that flying lap and will cross the line to complete his first time. What's his lap time going to be then? It's a 54.1. No qualifying bans tonight. Everybody is able to take part in qualifying. Let's go to Mike Matthews coming out the final corner. We'll pick up the 836. Mike Matthews coming towards the line. Got to go quicker than that. He's gone quicker than Overtaker at the moment. Mike Matthews went and didn't do a lap time. Invalidated. Rob Ramsell slots into P3. A lot of people have done their first flying laps. Only 4 have got a lap time on the board. De Bont moves up into P4. Let's pick up car number 8. And Mr. Niki Lauda himself is coming into the final corner. Niki Lauda. What's he doing?
Niki Lauda. What is John driving?
He's in the Aston Martin, the V8. As John comes towards the line.
Where's Shane running a Ferrari?
Goes P8 at the moment. Yeah. Would have been
McLaren even. Yeah, McLaren at the time. Yeah. I just put Lauda down as a Ferrari man. But anyway. Who else we got? So Williams, I reckon Patrick Ledger's driving really well tonight. He seems to have this circuit very well dialed. He was topping some of the timesheets earlier in earlier practice. As I'm going to try again, Rolowski. It's that Z that keeps putting me off. Goes quickest, only just though from Ben Rook. I'm expecting a 53.
I think I wouldn't, put that
We're only a
past
smidge
anything.
away from that.
Do you know what? And I'm going to say it now, not because it's the Honda. I think it'd be O'Reilly to do it.
O'Reilly or Dan, I think.
I don't know about Dan.
I've seen him do a 53.
Yeah, I have. I don't know. I think the way the stars align, this Honda tonight is underpowered. It got the fastest lap in race 1, and I just think that if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be O'Reilly, who's the next man to the line on a valid lap time, and goes and does. Oh my days, he nearly went in it on his first flying lap. I said it was there.
We'll be in the 53s, don't you worry, one way or another. We're
in the 53s.
Overtaker,
right,
easily.
Ignore that. O'Reilly's going to get a 52.
Rubbish.
I think a 52 is on the table here, right?
It's only half a second away now.
We've just literally sat here and gone, I think a 53 is possible. Overtaker, well, how about 53.4? It's not tight at all, is it?
No, not at all.
Actually, rather easy. Ledger's gone and done one. De Bont's gone and done one. Yeah. I think somebody will do a 52 tonight, Kelly. I really think that it could be possible.
I think we'll get very, very close to it as Overtaker has upped the bar quite significantly. Patrick Ledger, the gold driver there, I tell you, he's absolutely vibing with this track tonight.
As I said, Dan, I don't think he'd get a 53. I'm gonna retract that statement before he does his lap time.
Yeah.
No, he's in the 54 still, so I'm glad
Right.
But I think Dan will be there. Do you remember Mazda?
Yes, I do remember Mazda.
Who wouldn't if you're an old-time fan? Mazda used to always have a saying in practice, didn't he? I don't know if you remember, and you'd be doing a lap time, and he'd get within 2/10 of the next lap time, and he'd sit there and go, so like at the minute, you'd have done a 54, and he'd have gone, oh, there's a 53 in this, and then he'd have done overtaker's time, and he'd have gone, yeah, there's a 52 in this, and he just did it every single week, and it was one of them sayings that kind of stuck a little bit. And I'm going to do a Mazda now. I do think we could see a 52. Let's see what happens. So track temp 33 degrees, so it's a degree cooler than the sprint race. I think we could be pushing 36 degrees by the time the end of the feature comes.
Yeah.
Don't forget, will be another. It's 1 p.m. the start time, so that'll at least be 34 at the start time of the race. Here comes O'Reilly, not yet in the 53s. We said the Honda could be in the 53s. Oh, lo and behold, it's in the 53s. What a miracle.
He is now.
Yeah, he is now. Mike Matthews coming towards the final corner. We'll pick up the car number 9 next. That is Ledger, who's the next man on a valid lap time. So let's see what he can do. The blue dots, if you are new to the racing, blue dots mean invalid lap time. Now, there is a bit of a glitch. If you come out on an out lap and then start your first flyer, it will still be blue. So you will not be... it doesn't turn grey until you're on your second flying lap. But a lot of these haven't been back to the pits as Ledger crosses the line. No improvement. Let's pick up the car 34. Harris, who's raced well in recent weeks.
Yes, he has. Yeah, he's always been in the mix for sure. So
there we go. Yeah. He was up to 7th place. Jeez, good lap time.
Yeah, absolutely. Another gold driver punching well above his weight there. As Dan comes to complete a lap, I think he backed out of the middle of... Yeah,
he'd already invalidated it, Kelly. He'd already gone blue. So, Matt Wright, John Gooday, just gone yellow flags. They've both returned to the pit. So this is what I'm saying. They won't go grey. In fact, no, they're done. They're not going to get another run in. So everybody starting their final runs now. Cardno, 15th place, 741. That is Starlog in the big... I love the red on that Mustang. I think it looks beautiful. Shade of red. He comes to the line now, goes up 16th place.
I'm on board, so I can't see the red you're on about. It should be blue and white, shouldn't it?
442. That's Carlos. No lap time on the board. He is in the pits. He's not going to do a lap. Car number 10. That's Overtaker, who possibly just invalidated. It's so easy to invalidate a lap here that he's probably just invalidated a few too many times. Here comes Ben Ruck, will get one more flying lap at this, and he goes up to P5. Kieran O'Reilly will get one more run, and he goes into P number 2. Mike Matthews, it's not going to be tight. He's coming through the final corner. Who's that behind Mike? The 501, that is Rob Ramsell, down in 19th place. Can Rob Ramsell manage to get another lap time on the board in this one? I wonder. Then let's wait and see what he does. Comes across the line. He will get one more run and improves up to P18. So everybody now is done. Patrick Ledger will be done. Rozalski done. De Bont done. Ledger stays P4. The 117. Good. That is, can't quite find the 117. That's Rob Smith. Didn't see an improvement for him. Stays 17th. 515. That is Steve Millington in 21st, just ahead of Williams. Williams bails to the pit lane then. What does Millington go and do? He comes to the line, stays P20. Dan Davis has gone blue, so I think that's an invalid lap from Dan. He is going to finish the lap, so we'll just double check to see if it is. No, he's stopped. Or he's slowing, so no, it was invalid. Yeah. We've got Clace and Hibbs. Hibbs currently down in 21st. Clace has done. What will Hibbs do as he comes towards the line? Overtaker's on a blue lap as well, so that's invalidated for him. Hibbs goes up to 20th place. Overtaker, your current pole man at the moment. Dan down in 10th. Dan's got more work to do in this second race than he had to do in the first. He started a little higher up, so Dan will be it'll be interesting to see what progression he can make in that second race. Obviously, strategies are all going to play a key here. Ben Ruck round in the final couple of corners. We'll just keep our eyes on Overtaker's time, but he's done, in my opinion. He didn't pit, so that to me I think that he's done in qualifying. What can Ben Ruck do though, Kelly?
Yes, we will see. He's the last man across the line, was he not?
No, Mike Matthews was.
Mike Matthews. O'Reilly's coming to the things. O'Reilly on a valid?
O'Reilly and Mike both on valid. Ben stays 7th. O'Reilly goes within a little bit of pole position. Does improve though, so not bad. What can Mike Matthews do? 9/10 off the pole. 9/10 separate the top 13. Mike Matthews bails down on his time. Overtaker takes pole.
And what a cracking lap from Overtaker as well. It didn't improve. We didn't quite get to the 52s, but that was a hell of a lap from Overtaker because he banged that one up mid-session and no one really, apart from O'Reilly. Again, as you said, Matt, going well in that Honda. He got close, got so incredibly close.
He did, didn't he? And interesting to see. And it's in, this is O'Reilly driving. He's a man on form. Ginettas and this in the Darren Cup. He's just a man on form at the moment. What a driver he is turning into. And we know the Honda. I keep saying that we know the Honda. The Honda on Project Cars 2, the Acura, was very underpowered and not the best car. It is actually Acura.
Oh yeah, whichever way you want to call it.
I called it the Acura, and it is actually the Acura apparently. So.
Yeah, because that rolls off the tongue nicely, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Plus, I'm used to commentating with some Americans at the minute for work, and they'll say it, and it's just fallen that way now. But we know that the Acura Cora was underpowered in Project Cars 2. This is a new version of the Honda, and it's a lot better than the old version. And, minus 35 kilograms here tonight at 38 is a lot to lose, which would suggest... and we look at the BOP as... the more you gain, the better the car is at that track. The more you lose, the worse the car is. If you don't really gain a lot or gain nothing or lose nothing, it's kind of an average car at this circuit. So
30 seconds.
This would, to me, suggest that the Honda shouldn't be doing a lot round here. But yet O'Reilly is getting the best out of it, I think.
He has stuck with it for a couple of seasons, though, hasn't he? And really started to understand the car. And I'm a bit of a believer in that. Do you know what I mean? Kind of stick with something and get comfortable with it. And he's certainly done that. So, he's in the pound seats here. If he can mug Overtaker into the first corner, then happy days. Although Overtaker, as we saw in race 1, it wasn't a fluke race 1. He had down pressure in him for many laps, and he kept it all together. Overtaker is not just a sprint race winner. He's an ex-champion. So he's more than capable of holding on to this. But we'll see. We've got 70 minutes to get through. Tyres are going to be an issue. Are they? We'll see. Some people it will be. Some people it won't. Maybe. We'll find out throughout the evening. And I tell you what, Matt, the chat's gone incredibly quiet. Is there anybody out there? We are...
I hope so.
If there's still people there who are brave enough to comment, please let's hear your chat. We haven't seen anything for quite some time. So... Let's see. A 70-minute race coming up. One mandatory pit stop. You can take tyres, not take tyres. You have to take 1 litre of fuel. That is the mandatory. People are going to go long. They're going to go short. They're going to go 50-50. We will see. Interesting poll, that one, isn't it? Overtaker, is he going to take a clean sweep tonight?
Kelly, can we just say as well?
Yeah.
Ledger P4, what a qualifying session!
Yes, he's been on it tonight. I'm telling you, the Audio Sport driver is getting himself right in line for some bonus Skittles, isn't he? Although we gave all the last of them to Ben.
Yeah, if Ben beats Dan, I think you're going to have to renegotiate a contract.
Well, if Ledger beats a pair of them in this, who's getting the Skittles?
I mean championship standards. I think there could be a change in the pecking order. Either way, do you want a stat?
Yeah, go on.
Ford Mustang, 1 pole position for its 25th, which will obviously come next week in either Pro-Am or in the Pro. Lamborghini need 2 podiums for that 250th. And that was Overtaker's 36th pole position.
Wow, that's quite a lot.
3rd of the season. So, that's race wins. That was his 36th race win. In terms of pole positions, that is his 27th. He's just moved above Jamie Brazier.
As I said before, ex-champion, knows his way round. Pad user, interestingly.
Yes.
Yeah, and I still don't get that. Don't understand it. Don't know how you can be that precise in a group as competitive as this on a controller. I don't understand it.
He must have absolutely dialed them settings in. To be inch perfect.
He must have the most amazing thumbs ever. You know,
Yes.
they must be mighty thumbs. You know, because as I said, I struggle hard enough to keep it all in a straight line with a wheel in front of me, let alone just the touch of my thumb and the touch of your fingers. So fair play to him. Pad user, anybody on the pad who can go quickly, I'll take my hat off to. So yeah, it's his for the taking again in this feature race, Matt.
It is indeed. Good evening to Jamie Brazier, who's just been beaten
Hello.
by Overtaker's pole position.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, well
Blast in
done.
the past.
You've just been able to see Overtaker knock you down a peg on the pole positions leaderboard. Cairns is still
Come
there.
back for snap.
Marty Cairns, that is Will. That is W. Cairns who races with us. Hopefully you're recovering well, buddy. Still here cheering on the MSA guys and Rozalski.
Yeah.
Good luck, everyone. And Rob Smith, he's just casually waving.
Hello, Rob. And I do like a lovely pink wave. That's lovely. Looks like a pair of pink marigolds. But
I've got a pink pair of marigolds.
I have no doubt that you've got a pink pair of marigolds. But
Wasn't
what you
my
do
choice.
when you're not on air is up to you.
Wasn't my choice. The shopping came. We believe the picture was yellow. They turned up pink. So there we go.
Typical online shopping. You ask for a carrot and you get pink marigolds. You know.
Well, I didn't ask for marigolds.
Okay.
Marigolds. When we did the 20, do you remember the 24-hour event before we start this race? She ordered a shop. The wrong shop came.
Yeah.
We ended up with a load of beer and chocolate and crisps.
How terrible for
and then
you.
we got the right shot. Oh, it was a terrible 24-hour event. Either way, we're about to get going. Good evening to Darren Yo in the chat who says
Hello,
good evening,
Dad.
chaps. We're about to get underway though. Overtaker towards the line. It's green and go here, and Overtaker looks like he's getting away pretty decent. Again, a good start from Williams. De Bont a little bogged down. Overtaker and O'Reilly pretty even at the moment as they head in towards turn number 1. Can O'Reilly hang it around the outside? Williams looking up the inside of Ledger now. O'Reilly cannot. And Overtaker stays in front. Hits that yellow cone. That'll possibly ping up a track limit warning for Overtaker there. And Williams and O'Reilly, bit of hip and shoulder in the background. And that'll hurt them too. Rozalski looking on the back of Ledger. Late on the brakes up the inside. Nearly clatters the back of the Honda, and he goes off the circuit as well. That is Rozalski who is off. Dan Davis, where did he go at the start? Got a little bogged down.
Got touched just a little bit. Ben Rook went a little bit sideways, just lost it a little bit through the first corner and touched McGowan. And McGowan got run out wide. And I think Dan may have got touched by somebody behind him in all that chaos as they came through. But he's lost a couple of places, so he's gone down. Yes, Ben Rook went up. He's on the back of De Bont now with the straight line speed. He's having a look round the outside in the slip of Ledger. And as Ledger comes over to the right-hand side to defend it, Ben Rook looks like he's going to get De Bont. He has got him on the straight line speed before they get to the corner. Just dancing with the back end is Ben Rook as they all go wide. Stay with Justin.
Whoa, that was clouding huge off in the background. He was sideward spinning at that quick right-hander. That would have really killed and will hurt the tyres, shall I say. That was a massive spin for Jamal Clouden. Just as you were saying, apologies Kelly, about the Ben Rook battle, that's what we was watching, and a huge off for the Cloud9 driver in the background. But Ben Rook has got through on that of De Bont. He's now on the back of Ledger. McGowan as well coming under pressure from that of Harris, who nearly gets a tap in the rear from him. Mike Matthews and Matt Wright going well at the moment. Good evening to Sam Williams in the chat. Mike just taps the back of Harris. That slows Matt Wright up, and that's allowed Dan to get up and under on Matt Wright. May fancy a look on Mike Matthews as well here. It's a SimPlay sandwich for unorthodox at the moment. Wright trying to go to the outside of Dan. Dan to the outside of Mike. They possibly are going to go 3 wide. Dan just squeezes Matt Wright, who then taps him. Dan went a little too far over, I think, there.
That could have been an aircraft accident, that one, with those three going at it like that. But fortunately, they all got out unscathed. A little bit of a touch. And McGowan having a little bit of a mare over the last lap or so. De Bont and my new ski mate went past him. And... I didn't have time to think about it. My ski mate. Hi, Ski.
Rozalski.
Struggling with that one. We'll get it. Stick around, Ski. We'll get it.
Well, I'll tell you what, at the minute, Kelly, I'm just looking out front. Overtaker, fastest lap of the race. He has pulled 2.2 seconds over Williams. I am now looking at the leaderboard or at the timing tower and seeing the fuel strategies again. We will not give anything away. We are on board. Sorry, Kelly.
Yeah, O'Reilly going around the outside of Williams. Can he make it stick? Goes right round the outside. It's going to give Williams. O'Reilly goes to very wide, out of track limits there. Is he going to hold on to the place? Williams is still on the inside. They're going side by side round here as O'Reilly pulls just in front slightly. Can he make it to the exit? Yes, he can. He has got track position. He went out wide to get the move done. Yeah. How can you judge that? It's he didn't upset Williams too much. He didn't touch him or whatever. So, yeah. And look at this. Patrick Ledger still on the back of this.
On the back of it, and bringing Ben Ruck and De Bont and not quite Rysalski at the moment. Well, Chris, we'll answer your question in just a moment. We'll let the race settle down first of all. Mike Mathews side by side with Dan. On the outside, Dan was at the final corner. We just clipped to that one now. Mike looked like he got the better exit. Dan can't squeeze Mike too much now because he's got Mike fully alongside him. Dan going side by side with Mike. Can Mike brave it around the outside? He'll have the inside line for turn 2. Former teammates and 3 times Constructors champions. Mike lets Dan go pretty easy there, doesn't fight that one too hard. Down the order though, Clace is on the back of Rob Smith, as well as we've got Clouden who's trying to gain onto the back of this pack. Goudet on the back of Stardog, who's on the back of Millington. Carlos going side by side with this of Rob Ramsell. Carlos fighting his way through the pack. Bit of contact, Carlos sideways, off he goes. Contact's made, we didn't get to quite 6, there was a tree in the way.
Yeah, I think Mike and Dan gave each other mutual respect there. I think Dan was very cautious up on the curb, and I think Mike was very cautious on the outside. So I think they gave mutual respect there. We've got quite the train here. Harris, McGowan, Rysalski, De Bont, Rook, and Ledger. Williams all the way up to they just start to break a little bit as O'Reilly is starting to get the legs.
Oh, look at this, Kelly, sorry, but De Bont, McGowan, Rysalski and Ben Rook, they're 3 wide near enough coming into the right-hander. 3 into 1 doesn't work. De Bont backs out of it, and Rysalski and McGowan hang on. Rysalski's been sent to Manicourt, and Michael Harris thinks, you know what, I fancy 3 places. There's still 3 wide with De Bont in the middle, who manages to squeeze through the Audi and the BMW, and the German cars really putting on a display. De Bont and McGowan, how that hasn't ended up in tears, I do not know.
Yes, indeed. McGowan and Ben, I think, touched just slightly on that 3 wide. It could have been an awful lot worse than that. And I think Ben came out unscathed because he's still in front, but I saw him kind of exiting left. I thought, no, that could have been Harris, actually. Who knows? But they're still all in there. They're still scrapping the position. But Ski's gone to the
Rysalski's in. Rysalski's in. Harris side by side with De Bont down the start straight. He's got ahead of De Bont on the start straight. So Rysalski into the pit lane, and I'm just double checking here. He's possibly getting out the traffic if I'm not mistaken, but I can't quite see. Oh yeah, okay. So that is the strategy that he is going to run. It pretty much explains itself there, and it should be a simple stop. Carlos also in.
Yes, indeed. So these pulling the trigger very, very early. The pit lane is only pit window is only just opened, an hour-long pit window, so plenty of time. They've decided to get themselves out of whatever sticky situations they were in, and maybe get into some clean air.
Indeed they have. Ledger within half a second of Williams. That Lamborghini looking mighty strong today. They've got Harris 8 tenths off the back of McGowan. De Bont with him. Mike Mathew still within a second of Dan. Then you've got Matt Wright, Rob Smith, Cardno and Clace. They're pretty close together at the moment. That's the closest fight on track. Clace right up the rear wing of that of Cardno. Looks to the inside line. They're side by side as they come down the bottom end of the back straight. And here we go. Clay's going to be up the inside. The SimPlay Racing drivers are side by side. I think Matt Wright and Mike Mathews is going at it. Clace gets through. Did Matt Wright get past Mike Mathews? No, he did not. No. Hibbs is now having a look on the back of Cardno. Can't get it done there. Then you've got Ramsell and Millington. Drive-through penalty for Stardog. Track limits. We're only on lap number 3. So that is an early track limits warning for Stardog. Goudet on the back of Millington. Clouden there as well. And Stardog, who's just got that track limit warning, is behind that of Stardog. But Goudet now attacking the back of Steve. This is now the closest fight.
Yeah, there's quite a train here, isn't there, with some of these drivers. I'm on board with Rob Ramsell at the moment, who's staring at the back of Hibbs and Cardno in that one, and Clace close to Wright, and Wright close to Mathews, and There's a little gap there to Dan, who's now starting to home in on the back of this DeBont Harris scrap that's going on in front of him. So he's now coming in on this, so he's going to add to the mix of this one in a minute.
Interesting to see Dan's strategy here, because not the best of qualifying. He'd wanted to be up in that top 5 for sure, and instead he's 10th place, didn't get the best of starts, and now he's got to fight his way through this bit of traffic to get towards the front on the back foot. And if you look already, Harris is dropping off. Harris and DeBont are dropping off the back of that of McGowan. It's 1.4 seconds. Then you got McGowan to Ben, 2 seconds into Ledger. You know, the gaps are just really opening up here, and I think Dan's strategy, or Dan's qualifying, has put him where he's got to think about this strategy, I think, and this is going to be the interesting one to see. Dan now on the back of DeBont. This could be an overtake for position. DeBont, I'm surprised, didn't stay in the slipstream of the Audi here and decide to defend late, because surely he'd have gone for that slipstream. Now Dan's got the slipstream of the Audi, and DeBont's just happy to tuck back in and follow Dan Davis through, so was pretty happy to let Dan go. Dan now maybe fancies a look at Harris into the bottom end of the circuit. We're going to go back to Matt Wright and Mike Matthews, though. They're side by side. Wrighty around the outside of his teammate Mike Matthews. Mike's had a bit of a slide through there. Was track limits on the inside for sure, and Matt Wright through. Good move there, dropping down again towards Hibbs, who's got past that of Cardno. Ramsell going with him, looking up the inside of Cardno and Rob Ramsell. He will also gain another place. John Gooday still on the back of Millington, with Clouden getting close to the back of them. Stordog still got that drive-through penalty to do, and Patrick Ledger is now ahead. No, he's not, sorry, I was looking at in fact, he is ahead. What's happened to Williams? Because he's dropped down. I saw the DeBont head of Williams there, just waiting for the camera to pan around. Yes, Williams is behind DeBont and Dan.
Well, okay. He's obviously had a moment there, and who's that in? DeBont.
That's Ledger. DeBont, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, DeBont in, and Dan and Harris have dragged up to the back of Rook and McGowan. McGowan overtook Rook in the final sector. I think it was all clean and clear, but it's dragged Harris right up onto the back of Rook now, and Dan's following along. Williams, as you said, gone right back. Patrick Ledger on the podium as we speak. Some boy. Skittles coming your way, Paddy.
Oh, apparently we pronounce it class with a K. Apologies if we've mispronunciated that. I was told it was pronounced that way by somebody else who's got a similar surname on something else I do. So apologies for that. If it's class, we'll start calling him class. No problem. Class. That's what we had from somewhere else. Like you say, Harris now coming under pressure from Dan Davis. Dan was in a SimPlay sandwich. It's Harris now in an Audio Sport sandwich. Down the back straight. See, this is what I think DeBont should have done. Harris has stayed glued to the back of Ben's slipstream. Yeah. So that if Dan's going to pass him, he's got to be brave and look to the inside line, which Dan's going to try and do. On the inside line, backs out of that one and tucks back in behind. Probably best of it at the moment. Dan's had dramas with this corner, not just this season, but in seasons before. Harris, though, as Ben runs wide, going to look up the inside as he got the move done. Bit of hip and shoulder, and Harris comes off worse.
And Dan spins as well. Dan spins out of that as well. That unsettled Dan's car, and he went round as well. I thought he was going to hold on to it. The one who got hit there was the one who got away with most of it, and that was Ben Rook. That's put Dan back even further. Harris just seemed to understeer straight into Ben Rook.
Tricky corner. You've got to, if you're getting that right, because you are going to understeer, you're going to slide as well. If that back end isn't happy, you're just going to slide. But like you say, Ben comes off of that, you know, maybe carrying a little damage, but pretty unscathed. Dan Davis and Harris, the two big losers, and Harris actually stays in front of Dan after going off a little further off the circuit.
Yes, as you say, it all. Sorry.
Something else has happened to Mike. Mike was recovered after his slide with Matt Wright. He's now behind everybody, bar Rozalski. So, yeah, interesting. Cardno's into the pits as well.
Just incidentally, Overtaker is now 5 or so seconds ahead and in the zone and away.
Yeah, he is indeed, and this is going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on in this race. Overtaker 6 laps in, he's looking pretty good at the moment.
Yes, he's looking reasonably comfortable out front. He knows how to win this race. He did it just half an hour ago, so he knows how to win round here, and he's doing a cracking job out front. But it's that's not where the action is. Dan's now recovering again from that last incident, so he goes forward, he goes backwards. He's certainly struggling, and but that's probably one of the closest fights at the moment. On track is Dan is close to Hibbs. Hibbs is close to Harris. And Dan looks again to the outside. To the inside of the fast right-hander at the end of the straight. You're playing Russian roulette. You go side by side with someone there, aren't you? You know.
And I think as well, Kelly, that you've got to ask yourself the question of what damage has been done to Dan's tyres and Harris's tyres as Harris looks slidey through here. That's put Tibbs on the back foot. He's still slipping and sliding. Dan nearly into the back of Harris. You just saw the brake lights flash on Dan's pedals there. And he has now hit the back of Harris. And Dan Davis just having a nightmare race, him and Harris. You wonder what has happened. Dan, that'll possibly ping up a track limits. He was off the other side of them bollards. Dan's now side by side with Rob Ramsell, and you have to say his qualifying has put him on the back foot in this race.
I think Dan was also. Do you think he was distracted by Harris? Harris was having a slide, and a slide.
Well, Dan's going to come into the pit lane, Kelly. He's had enough of that. Jamal Cloudon's going to follow him in as well.
Yeah, he probably has had enough of that. I think he was probably unsettled by Harris, and not trying to get smashed up by him again. From
interesting at the minute. Matt Wright is plodded on with this race, and he's on the back of Williams for P6 up the order. And this could be an interesting one to keep our eyes on. Matt Wright looking.
Dan didn't take tyres.
He was pretty quiet. Dan didn't take tyres, right? So that would suggest then if he's gone green that Dan has heavy fueled in this race, and that's going to be the interesting thing here. So just a reference for those people out there. 27 seconds is the difference between a 1 litre and 30 seconds. So I've dropped my mic again. I really could do with a better stand for this microphone.
You really could.
Those who take tyres will obviously 30 seconds. A splashing dash. So actually, I'll give you the precise numbers.
Cloudon's on tyres. He's got to be. He's been still sat in the pits.
Right, so the difference between Dan and Cloudon then, for Dan, his pit stop would have cost him 35 seconds as Matt Wright has swooped right around the outside of Williams and moves up into P6. Williams going to fight this one back. Into the long right-hander he goes. Wright still just ahead. Williams coming back at him. They go very close to touching here. And Wright and Williams, great bit of racing. I think Williams has got back in front. Maybe might have to leave the door open for Wright into the left-hander. Wright still got the nose there. It tightens up, does that left-hand corner. Now Williams is on the inside line. Wright's then going to be back on the inside for the next part of this, and Wright's decided, no, I'm going to tuck him behind and wait for the start straight. But the difference is, so Dan, who we now gather has taken full fuel, 35 seconds for a perfect pit stop 1 litre, 62 seconds for a perfect pit stop change of tyre, so a 27 stop swing.
Yes, indeed. So yes, that's the difference, and let's see who can make it last. As I said earlier in the show, where some of the drivers were confident that they weren't going to take tyres, and some reckoned it couldn't be done without it. Yeah. So we will see. As a point that's just been made by Rob Smith, if you're sliding on the red strips of the track, your tyres will be knackered. Well, yes, these strips, if you didn't know around Paul Ricard, as you get further out, the blue lines are abrasive, the red ones are very abrasive. So you don't want to be off tracks because track limits is really harsh here anyway. But if you're on these blue things, they're abrasive on your tyres. Yeah. The red is extremely abrasive on your tyres. So that's quite right, and that's, if you didn't know that, that's a fact about Paul Ricard.
Chris is asking what a drive-through penalty would look like around here. That will
cost you like a car rolling through the pits.
Yeah, that's if you don't know, message Kieran Argent. He practiced one in race 1 last night. Sorry, Kieran. A drive-through penalty will cost you 27 seconds. You'll lose 15% of your lap with a drive-through around this circuit. See? Good facts, hey?
That's answered my question. He obviously kind of worked it out from what you were saying about a 1 litre pit stop. We didn't answer your other question on McLaren. I'm sure we'll get back to that a bit later
on. Well, actually, let's get to it now, because he said that, bit of a quiet phase. We'll go back to Matt Wright and Williams a second.
That's where I am at the moment. But I'm watching these two at the moment.
Where is it? Do you think McLaren handed Lando Norris the win? No. I don't.
Right.
I said off it. No. I think Piastri, they was worried about, or they was focusing on Piastri getting past Leclerc at that stage of the Grand Prix. So when Leclerc had pitted, they reacted with Piastri or sorted Piastri out to undercut Leclerc, whichever way it was. So I think they was more bothered about getting Piastri ahead of Leclerc, because Lando had dropped behind George and Fernando. They offered him the one stop. It worked in his favour. Great. Oscar could have passed him, but dive bombed him and nearly hit the back of him, and it ruined that chance. So I don't think they handed Norris the win. I think they was on Lando could do a different strategy because he couldn't pass Alonso and Russell, and they was too busy trying to get Piastri to beat Leclerc at that stage of the Grand Prix. That's my thoughts.
I think I tend to agree. I don't think it was. I think Lando again had a poor start, didn't he? You know, which seems to be a bit of his Achilles heel, really. And I think that they stopped as a gamble. You know, let's do it. Let's see where we end up, because they had such a gap. I mean, Leclerc's pace fell off completely, didn't it? It's like the wheels dropped off that Ferrari. But they had nothing to lose. They were going to be fourth, or they were going to be fourth. You know, so. If they had to pit for the second time, they would have still been fourth. Yeah. You know, so I think it was just a good call on a strategy gamble.
Gonna have to interrupt you there, Kelly. Rob Ramsell's looking up the inside of Hibbs, coming into the right-hander on the back straight. This will be brave. Job done. Hibbs backed out of it.
Yeah, Matt Wright has done Williams along the straight and into the long right-hander. So cracking move from the gold driver of Matt Wright. Put one over nicely on Williams there. And let's see if he can stay in front of him now. But driving well tonight.
We didn't read out the championships in qualifying, did we? Well, O'Reilly's got a 20-point lead over Williams. 46 to Ben Rook. 51 to Carlos, 54 to Dan, 77 to Silf, who's not here tonight. It's the top five within 50 points of each other. So going well at the minute, it is indeed. Ledger and McGowan is looking to be a juicy fight at the moment, as well as Hibbs and Ramsell. No, sorry, that's been done, hasn't it? We've not gone through the sectors to have that one updated. So Ramsell ahead of Hibbs and moves into the top 10. We've got Class on the back of Rob Smith as well.
Yes, indeed. We certainly have. I haven't watched that battle. That's Class. Okay, there he is. And not a load of battles going on. As you said, McGowan is now catching the back of Patrick Ledger. Patrick Ledger doing a cracking job. We're in a podium position at the moment, but a long way to go. Still 50 minutes to go in this race, so plenty of time. Things to go good or bad.
Carlos as well. Sorry, Ken, I'm just keeping an eye on the fights. There's three battles within 3/10. One is the Class, one is McGowan, and one is Dan Davis and Carlos. Dan has just opened that gap up to half second, but Carlos keeping Dan honest at the moment. So has that moment, that spin for Dan, just hurt the tyres at this stage? Hopefully that'll come away. We are at McGowan, 34 degrees track temp.
Sorry, Matt. McGowan looking down the inside at the end of the long straight, dives into the right-hander. Does go very deep on the corner, and but does go ahead of Patrick Ledger. Gets the job done.
Yeah, job done for McGowan. Lovely little move that, and you can. Oh, Williams, just as we jumped on him, had to snap back before hitting them bollards and getting that track limits call. Hibbs still within 3/10 of Ramsell. So we've had DeBont, Rozalski, Davis, Carlos, Cardno, Clouden, and Stordog have all done their pit stop in this race. So an interesting one to see at the moment.
I think I don't think Williams is gelling with this track tonight, do you?
No, again,
he just doesn't seem to be his usual self.
Didn't seem great at Misano, did he? And it looks the same tonight. What was the bop on that Mercedes? Let's take a look. The Mercedes gains 5 kilograms, so pretty much, 5 kilograms is not a lot. Yeah. No. So, pretty sort of average. Same with the McLaren, the Lamborghini, the BMW, the Audi, the Ferrari. They all lose and gain within 5 to 3 kilograms. Like we said, the Honda loses 38, so that's really been affected. The Mustang, the Aston Martin gained 16 and 15, so not real big gainers. More the fact that the Honda loses a lot, I suppose, is the big shock. 16 kilograms it's a good amount. You'll notice it, but it's not a huge amount. And I was going to say, for those who don't understand what a kilogram is, to put it in real terms, a bag of sugar is a kilogram. 2.2 pounds. So the Honda loses, wasn't it? Loses Honda
38.
Loses. So it's like 38. Taking 38 bags of sugar.
38 bags of sugar out of the car. I mean, even for a Honda, that's a lot of shopping, isn't it? The Jazz would be all right with it, of course.
The Jazz would be fine. You could get at least 50 bags of sugar in one.
You could get that and your Zimmer frame and your hearing aid beige hearing devices in as well. Yes, absolutely.
Just watching Class there. He was on the back of Rob Smith, getting a little closer in the slipstream, not making a dent. Harris coming back at Hibbs at the moment. It's going to drop down. Dan's pulled 6/10 to Carlos. The closest fight on circuit is actually Williams coming back. You know, it's class on Smith, but Williams within half a second still of Matt Wright. So coming back at Matt Wright in this race at the moment.
Yeah, he hasn't really, and Matt hasn't taken off into the distance, but Williams, yes, he's winning half a second, but he's not bothering Matt Wright too much. So same with Ledger. Ledger is keeping honest to McGowan. McGowan obviously overtook him the lap before, and McGowan hasn't got away, but Patrick Ledger still got him in sight. He's not pulling away at any particular rate of knots. So Hibbs on Ramsel as well. That one's reasonably close. But we're beginning to get in that phase now a little bit, aren't we?
Yeah, we are indeed. Just that bit of a lull at the moment. Just looking at the latest lap times, but I'm waiting for Ledgers to update onto lap 12. There we go. Ledger only lost 2/10 last lap to McGowan, so not bad. You know, he's sticking with McGowan. Let's not forget, Ledger is only a gold driver. So he's doing really well to stay at the sharp end of this grid, you know, and fantastic. For Ledger to go. Ben Rook last time was actually 2/10 quicker than Ledger as well in that one. Ledger actually took the gold win. Sorry for bringing the timetable there. I forgot who took the gold win. Ledger took that gold win in the first race. So
he's been quick all night, hasn't he?
He's going to look for another gold win in this one as well, you'd imagine.
If not a podium.
And where is it? That's his fourth gold win this season. So, you know, Mike Matthews is the only other driver to have had more with 3.
Yeah.
So well done to Patrick Ledger. And in that championship standings, Ledger's now sitting 4th in the Gold Championship, just behind that of Hibbs. And if you look where Hibbs is 11th to 4th, big point different haul there. So, interesting.
Absolutely. In the chat, we've got Chris Rook saying that the Jazz would straight line the corners because it only drives at 20 miles an hour. Well, it wouldn't be on track because it only goes out on a Sunday, does the Jazz. So,
you're not meant to disrespect 1 Honda's and 2 Kelly's favourite all-time cars. So, you know, bit of respect for the Jazz.
Yeah, just a bit of respect for the Jazz. Do they do a Type R? Do they do a Type R Jazz? I bet they do in Japan. I bet they do.
I bet they do in Japan.
I'm going to Google it. Google it.
If you get Michael Bublé to sit in a Type R, then you've got someone who sings jazz in a Type R. I suppose that's probably as close as it might be.
Tenuous, that one, Matt. Tenuous.
Let's not disrespect the Bublé. He'll be out soon. He'll be out, we got 4 months, and he'll be out, or 3 months, actually. Now, 2 months.
Your favourite time of year?
Yes, nearly Christmas.
Oh, hey, mate, I'll be in New Zealand, so I don't care.
Oh, beautiful. When we go into New Zealand, Kelly?
Well, I'm going early December.
Early December, lovely.
We've got to go to where have we got to go? Croatia for our house, or is it Croatia, or was it Czechia or somewhere like that?
Czechia, I think.
Where that free house of ours is.
Got a nice little holiday home that we rented. I've not seen any money from this holiday home yet.
I haven't. No.
You know, class come into the pit lane on the last lap. Hibbs on the back of Ramsel with Harris on the back of him. Dan's opened that gap up to Carlos to a second. He's 3.5 behind Rizalski. Overtaken O'Reilly. Stayed around that 5.9 second mark. Hasn't gone over the 6 seconds yet. Christmas stuff in shops already. Where? You must tell me where now, Chris. I need to visit these shops. The tree will be up the day after Halloween, so don't worry about that. We'll get the Christmas puns out next season. Don't you worry.
Yeah, absolutely. End of this season, September. That's almost close enough for you, isn't it? As soon as the kids go back to school, that's
Not quite yet. Just a little too early at the moment. Just at the moment, a little too early. We'll see what happens. Class has just come out the pits. He's ahead of Jamal Clouden. Don't forget, Jamal Clouden has taken tyres. It would assume that Class has probably taken tyres as well, because he's come out closer to Jamal Clouden. As we're watching this fight of Ramsel, Hibbs and Harris here, they're having a bit of a ding-dong. Ferrari, McLaren, Audi, 3 manufacturers, 3 different nationalities, 3 very different driving styles, that is for sure. John Goudet lurking in the background at the moment. Christmas. Love it.
Well, hey, never mind Christmas. The Honda Jazz Type R doesn't exist as a production model, although it's a popular concept amongst enthusiasts and inspires customization. So all you need to do is pop down to McDonald's, order up your chicken nuggets, and you'll see a Honda Jazz Type R, although being a consumer concept.
When it says there that, you know, what was it you said about concepts? That's concepts by people who would like that. Yes.
So it's basically someone
what Kelly's admitting,
Type R badge.
What Kelly's admitting without saying he's done it is he's the one as Harris goes up the inside on the exit of turn 2, gets past Hibbs there. Has he completed the move? He's just got it done now. So a good move from Harris. I think Hibbs had a problem through turn 2 because he dropped right off the back of Ramsell.
Hibbs was squarely out of turn 2, which opened the door for Harris. I was kind of between Google and watching that as well as a cone just gets it as it goes flying across the track. But I think that was more Hibbs' mistake was capitalised by Harris, that one.
Back to the concept. The only person to come up with a Honda Jazz Type R concept, I think, is Kelly. He's just not admitted that it's him that has submitted.
I've got it tucked away in the garage. I've got some Honda touring car parts.
There's royalties waiting on that one with Kelly Davis's name on it. It'll be the Honda Jazz Type R KD edition.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got Honda Type R parts kicking around the workshop.
Yeah, exactly.
Gordon Shedden's rear splitter, funnily enough.
Brilliant driver.
Brilliant driver. Yeah, great splitter as well. It's hung up in my workshop.
A few people from Croft at the weekend nearly had half of his car if Sutton had his way about it.
I think Sutton was trying to get in there with him, wasn't he? At one point,
that Toyota looks nice. Boom,
we'll have some of that.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have done it if it was a Honda Jazz, would it? Wouldn't have got near it.
No, been too far up the road. Now Williams is coming back here at Matt Wright.
He is
towards the mid stage of this race. So it's going to be an interesting one to keep our eye on. We've got Hibbs still with Harris as well, but Matt Wright and Williams just having a little ding-dong.
Sorry, mate. De Bont just going past Millington. Is full position, but De Bont has already made his stop as they're still at it, to be honest. Oh, and they touch just slightly. Millington understeers just slightly, gives De Bont a bit of a nudge. So De Bont's now on the outside as they go into the penultimate corner. And Millington fighting this one hard. I probably would have let him go at this point. It's not your fight, really, and De Bont has got the inside line for the last corner and takes the position.
Millington got held up an absolute peach here. He got such a launch by taking that wide berth. Such a launch by taking that wide berth that he got halted. Rosalski now on the outside of Steve Millington down the straight. There's Dan and Carlos in the background. Rosalski to the outside line, and Steve fighting that one very hard as well.
He is as well.
And he holds on to that
Steve
position.
Millington.
Well, he goes a little wide. This could open the door up for Rosalski. Steve stays off the circuit, knows Rosalski's here, and now rejoins, like merging onto the motorway.
Absolutely similar, yeah. You don't tend to do it at 120 miles an hour, but depends. If you've got Honda Jazz, sorry, did I say 120? I meant 20.
Especially the KD edition that comes in white with blue and pink stripes on it.
White with some blue stripes and some gold wheels.
Yeah. And it'll have Audio Sport printed all over it, and that comes as bog standard. You can't change that.
Yeah, it's moulded into the paint. You can't do it. You can't take it off.
Even if you wrap it, the wrap will just go in, and it will still say Audio Sport in a different colour.
That's it. It lights up. Audio Sport lights up as well, so you can't wrap it because it lights up. So the KD edition Type R. Look out! Coming to a McDonald's near you.
Hot Wheels might release one. That's about as close as you'll get, I reckon.
Absolutely, and I'm not really going to do it.
No. Williams is just dropped off the back of Wright a little bit this lap. Goudet gaining on the back of his teammate Hibbs this time around, and is pretty close to his teammate, the two Greasy Bandits cars. We've got Millington and Dan, and Millington doesn't fight Dan as hard in that one, in fact, if at all, in that one. And I believe
same stable, aren't they?
Yeah, same stable. I believe they're in the same voice chat, so that may have been, hey, it is what it is. That's motor racing at the end of the day. Or maybe Steve realised that, you know what, these guys aren't my fight.
Maybe so. We don't know, and we never will. But Dan's on his way, and he's in front. And as I say, Steve Millington hasn't pitted yet, so it's although it is for position, it's kind of not, if you know what I mean. I
do know what you mean. Yeah, 100%. Right, now Matt Wright's opened that gap up to Williams to a second. So Williams having a very yo-yo kind of race. He's up, he's down, he's all over. I don't quite know what to make of this Mercedes. One car that has been in the wars and in the dramas and in the overtaking manoeuvres tonight is Harris. He's on the back and gaining on Rob Ramsell at the minute, and as well as Goudet and Hibbs in the background. Goudet
pushing Hibbs.
I'd say so. As the camera turns, there's a slither. You could fit a piece of paper between them, I'm guessing.
They touched a few times down that straight.
There we go.
Quite a few.
There we go then. So Goudet and Hibbs going at it. Harris catching onto the back of Ramsell. Harris has looked a little loosey-goosey in that car.
He has, yeah.
But he's sort of coming back into it.
He is. I think some of the drivers might have some dirty words to say about Harris tonight. He has been a kind of all over the place and tapped here and there. But again, as I said at the top of the show, this track is very slippery, and certain cars certainly struggling. Yeah. And I don't know about the Audi, because the Audi's not used that much by many people. Not many people choose it.
No, it's not indeed. We're up to 35 degrees track temp, so it is getting warmer.
Hibbs going in the pits.
We may touch 36. So Hibbs is in the pits. That will release Goudet and Mike Matthews. And away they go in this race. Right then, what have we got on the agenda here? This is going to be an interesting race. I feel O'Reilly again. Gap's just come down a little from 5.9 without really troubling anything at the moment.
Having a really quiet race, those two, aren't they?
Well, the front five really are, aren't they? In fact, the front 6, 7 kind of are. Rob Smith's got Ramsell catching in. Ramsell's got Harris, Haslam, and the fights have been further down the order today. The top 4 have certainly had, the top 2 have had a very uninteresting race. They've just gone off into the distance and maintained the gap. Ben Rook's had his incidents, as Matt Wright and Williams have had a ding-dong this evening. Those top couple have just, probably come off this and go, did anything happen? You know, because, they weren't in it. But just doing what they need to do to stay first and second. Chris saying in the chat that Robin is racing. Well, it depends on the level of rubbing, doesn't it? You know, there's rubbing, Chris, and there's rubbing. Yeah. If you know what I'm saying. There's rubbing, there's touching doors, and then there's doing Ash Sutton-like things and joining the other car. You know, merging the front of a Ford to the rear of a Toyota. But
if you're not a touring car fan and you didn't see the touring car, go back. You can still stream it on
YouTube.
ITVX.
Yeah, but also you can watch it on YouTube now,
or ITVX. Yeah, any of those, and just look at the move that Ash Sutton put on. Who was it? Ingram?
He put the move on Ingram and Moffat, but also shut the door on Shedden.
Shut the door? He downright ripped the door right off. He
may as well have done. Oh, look at that, Stardog. Yeah. I don't know if Ramsell was committed to a pit stop, but Stardog was very slow on the exit, which just halted Ramsell a little bit. Overtaker is also in.
Ramsell was right at the back of Smith as well, and that held Ramsell up. So I think there was a yo-yo effect there, to be honest. They both went to the pits, and Smith was slowing as he should for the pits. I think there was just a bit of a shockwave, that one, which gave them all a bit of an instant. But as I said, if you want to know what Super Taurus looks like in the modern era, Ash Sutton and that move, well worth going back and watching just that move. Very interesting.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the race results here just to double check that Sutton didn't get a penalty, and there's nothing on my screen. So
it was quite the move.
Oh, jeez, you know.
Great track to watch there, Croft. If the way the cars bounce around, the bumps and the curbs in that one, it was. Was some great racing. You see a touring car at its very best, and they are the very best.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, we love them.
Oh, right. Top 9 all yet to pit. Smith and Ramsell are coming out of the pit lane. Carlos is through. Cardno is through. There goes Clay.
Overtaker now behind Dan and Rorowski.
Yes, but I am going to assume that Overtaker has taken tyres.
Right? Yes, so do I.
27 seconds would have been the gap needed before pit stop, so this would have been before Dan's pit stop. 27 seconds would have been the gap needed to get the jump over someone who's taken tyres. We assume Dan hasn't. We know now Overtaker has. Overtaker is 3.1 seconds behind Dan. With 33 minutes left, it's already 2.9 in a sector, so he's gained 4 tenths, nearly half a second in one sector. That to me would suggest that if you haven't taken tyres, you could be in for a painful 30 minutes.
You could be. Yes, but surely we'll see when Overtaker crawls up to the back of Dan how Dan can defend.
Drive-through penalty. 59. Steve Millington, track limits. That is the second track limits violation of the day.
I'm surprised there hasn't been more, to be honest, but yeah, I'm very surprised. So we will see change of different strategies. We talked about this at the top of the show. and we talked about this at the top of the show. Some were convinced that tyres, that we could do the race on the tyres, it would be fine. Some were convinced that you couldn't do this race without taking a set of tyres. We will start to see if that's true or not, because we have got Overtaker, who's been leading this race from the lights comfortably 5 seconds ahead of O'Reilly, has taken tyres and is now behind Dan, who was 10th when he came in, and kept his tyres.
No, he wasn't 10th because he'd had that spin.
Sorry, he was below 10th.
I can't remember where he was.
11th or 12th then, something like that.
Overtaker's coming up to Sector 1. I'm going to get to the point I made, I was about to make a moment ago. 3.3 was the gap down to Overtaker. At this point last lap, it's 2.2. In a lap, Overtaker has taken 1.1 seconds out of Dan. Now, the point I'm thinking is O'Reilly should jump Overtaker, depending on Overtaker's laps here and when he gets onto the back of a bit of traffic. Overtaker should be behind that of O'Reilly. We've had a retirement from the race. I've just noticed we're down to 21 drivers. Jamal Clouden.
I wonder where Clouden had disappeared
has retired from the race.
Okay, did he jump or was he pushed? We don't know.
Not sure.
We're sure we'll find out somewhere along the line. So, as far as the pit stops go, it's de Bont who is actually the head of the pit stop runners. So, again, what did de Bont do? He was much higher up the grid.
He pitted very early. He pitted very, very early.
He did,
and was a quick stop. Him, Rizalski and Dan was all a quick stop.
Right, so we're presuming that none of them took tyres, although de Bont was a lot higher up the order and is a big gap in front of Ralowski.
Yeah. Rizalski.
In front of Ski. Long way in front of Ski. So de Bont could be in the pound seats here if he can make his tyres last.
The gap to Overtaker is about 5 or 6 seconds. It depends on O'Reilly, and it depends on Overtaker's progression. 30 minutes, long way to go on this set of tyres, if you ask me. Mike's P13, see if he took tyres. Williams was on the back of Carlos. Overtaker's 1.7 to Dan. So what was it? It was 2.2 at the first sector last lap. We're coming to the first sector now, or we're approaching it. Let's see what Overtaker's time to Dan is. Dan's within 9/10 of Rizalski. So Dan's not really being held by Rizalski at the moment, not close enough to be held up. But through Sector 1 they come, and Overtaker is 1.5, so nearly another second. So pretty much 2.2 and 8/10, 2 seconds pretty much taken out to Dan, I think, in 2 laps. So Taker's coming. I think half an hour for those who haven't changed tyres, that is a long stretch to go. I really do.
Yes, it is. Well, we'll see who's the tyre whisperer and who isn't on this one.
Oh, you'd have done this, no problem.
I've still got the same set of tyres from the first race I did.
You've got the same set from last season.
I have. I got the same set. Oh, yeah.
Although to be fair, Dan did smash that Porsche up a bit. So the budget's tight for this year, I was told.
It is, yeah. Although I got a good deal on all those Lamborghinis that were going cheap. So,
buffed out Gary's Porsche room, didn't you?
Yeah. We straightened it up, bashed it about a bit.
The only reason Gary's done tonight. Carlos, drive-through penalty. Third driver to get a drive-through penalty. So that is him in the book as well. Dan now 7/10 off the back of Rizalski. That is it's not the closest fight. Rob Smith and Hibbs is the closest fight on the circuit. But yes, Dan and Rizalski.
And Overtaker.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah, this is all coming. Yeah, well, we'll see now how this pans out for sure. Got a laugh, Rob Smith in the chat. Fight for every position unless there's a blue flag. Why let that stop you? Oh yeah, because it's the rules. Yeah. Fight for every position. Sometimes, Rob, you've got to pick your battles, I think. Although, coming from me, I tend to fight.
Depends on the stage of the race, Kelly.
Of course it does, yeah.
You had a fight with Benny Varga at Hungary and you let him go, and it was a wise choice. If that was on the final lap, I guarantee you're fighting for your life with Benny Varga to hang on to that one.
Yeah, absolutely. The super defending KLF would have come out then. As it was at the time, I was just going to... It's the balance between losing time to defend that position, so, yeah.
Right, we're on board with the rear wing of Dan Davis. Overtake takes a very different line to Dan through there. And look at that, already gets the better exit. You just saw him close in on the exit of that corner. Dan's getting the benefit of a slipstream from Rosowski, don't forget, just further forward. But look at that Mustang, pull and pull. I think that this is not really down to tyres. This is down to how much horsepower that Mustang's got. But Taker got the run onto the back straight. And Overtaker, he's got 2 for 1. It's a buy one, get one free offer. Dan maybe looks into the middle. Can't do it there. And Overtaker, thank your mama for the carrots. Through he goes. Tyres, what an option.
Absolutely. When he ordered carrots, he very much got them, not marigolds. Although Rulowski is going to come back at him.
Yeah, but watch the traction out this corner, look. Taker pulls away. That is tyres, Kelly.
Yes. Dan having a look. Oh, it all gets a little bit close. And Dan with a watching brief here. He was going to have a look round the outside but couldn't make it stick. Taker on new tyres and in that Mustang round here has got that all hooked up. 2 for 1 down the straight, as you said. Job done.
Dan taking that wider entry to get a slingshot out the corner. Comes to not just walk so close to being on the inside line for turn 1 of Rosowski there. He's not quite alongside yet, is Dan Davis. Not on our camera either way. Pulls now to that inside line. Dan's looking racy. He's going to try and look up the inside into turn 1. Gets up the inside at turn 1. Good move, Dan Davis. And then comes back across to take the apex of 2.
I was on board with that, and I think he waited to see what Ski did. And Ski went out very wide, almost looking like, where's Dan, I don't want to hit him. And then Dan, I don't know, came off the brakes or something and then took the move. Almost looked like he was hesitating to see what was going to pan out, but job done.
Job done. Mike Matthews is going to have to start defending from his teammates in this one. Although, to be fair to Mike, I'd probably let Matt go in this race. How did Mike get in front of Matt? I don't think Mike took tyres, and I think he's only possibly taken fuel because Matt was Matt was ahead of Williams, and Mike was nowhere near Williams.
Mike is one of those who's been struggling with this track with the McLaren. I took my McLaren out round and really struggled with it. It seemed to be loose as. Clouden was saying that he had it all dialed and did have pace earlier on with the McLaren, but Mike didn't ever kind of get it quite dialed in to where he was happy. So I'm surprised if he hasn't taken tyres, but track position, he's a fair way up.
After his fair way up. So, Kelly, just want to interrupt. Started off with a second drive through of this race. Patrick Ledger's pitted. That's a splash and dash because he's in and out in 3rd place, whereas he was behind McGowan in 4th. McGowan's now 9th. So 25 minutes to go. He's got to hope and pray them tyres stay in check. Overtake, though, is only 5 seconds behind him. So I wouldn't hold your breath at the minute because 5 seconds for Overtaker's pace at the minute could be closed pretty quickly. Still 25 minutes left in this race. Tyres are going to be the talk here, I think. I think the change of tyres has worked. Mike's let Matt go. Mike has let Matt go, so Matt is through.
Probably smart, to be honest. So, do you think that Overtaker, with the tyre advantage and the pace he's got, is a sitting duck to everybody?
No, I think Overtaker's still on for this race win.
So you think that anybody he's going to come up against is going to be a sitting duck?
Yeah,
he's
massively.
Coming up behind De Bont. De Bont is no slouch.
No,
he's he's upper end of platinum. And proved himself. So Overtaker's now going to come up behind De Bont. We're pretty sure that De Bont hasn't taken tyres. Well, so you think he's going to make easy work of him?
Let's put it this way, Kelly. Last lap, Overtaker was 1.2 seconds quicker than Dan. He was 1.7 seconds quicker than De Bont.
Yes.
But easy work, isn't it? We can't say Ledger at the moment. Ledger's was his out lap. Overtaker was also lapping 9/10 quicker than O'Reilly and 1.6 seconds quicker than Ben, and they haven't pitted yet, and they're on all tyres. And the way they're going at the minute with 23 seconds left, you're probably going to say that's going to be splash and dash at this. If you're half and half, you're pitting around the 40 to 30 minute mark. Yeah. If you're going longer than that or shorter than that, you're probably splashing and dashing, just adding a bit of fuel. Ramsell got within a second of Harris. He's lost out a little bit. Taker's already on the back of De Bont. I think this could be short-lived. I think Taker has done the right strategy.
You could be right. Combined with the pace that he's got this evening, because he's certainly got this track dialed in. Yeah, you could well be right. In the chat, Sam Williams, AS Racing for 1 and 2 in gold. Ace work. Yes, it is. There'll be Skittles for all those boys in their bonus pack at the end of the year. So well done to them so far. And Rob Smith pointing out that Carlos drive through and quit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Carlos is retired as well, so that'll be 2 qualifying bans coming next week.
Biggest annoyance with sim racing is rage quit. Yes, it's not great. It's not
Here
great.
we go. Overtaker looking to the inside of turn 1. De Bont held it there for the outside, for the inside of turn 2. Taker is just now getting closer and closer and closer.
Do it there?
Looks up the inside, brakes a little earlier, doesn't get it done. I think Overtaker's best bet. Wait for that back straight.
Just straight, yeah. I don't know why he's faffing around.
You also got to think this corner here is a tricky corner for the car sliding through. Taker can just wait, get on the power. The car will grip better than the car in front, and away he goes. Let's watch. We saw it happen with Dan, and he overtook Dan and Rosowski on this back straight. Here comes the Ford Mustang. And what is he? He's going to be 3.2 behind the Ledger. Yeah. I think this is Overtaker. Going to pull to the inside. De Bont's put the hazards on. Through goes Overtaker. I think De Bont knows that that's not his fight in this race.
Yeah, he knows that he ain't gonna touch him. So Overtaker definitely with the advantage at the moment. So today he has absolutely got this track dialed in.
4 seconds, Taker to Ledger. Ledger's last lap of 55.8, Taker a 54.6. This one will obviously be a little slower for Taker. He was sat behind De Bont at the beginning of this lap, so lost a bit of time there. But, you know, I'm just struggling to see where tyre changes are going to work. But, you know, we've still got 20 seconds to go. These tyres could start to drop off a cliff here. Track temp's still 35 degrees. It's the nature of these corners for me that make it that you have to change tyres. It'll be interesting to see what people say afterwards. But
again, like I said earlier, the track is slippery as well. The more you're sliding, the more you're wearing. I mean, it's going to be very interesting when O'Reilly pulls the trigger. He's still got 16 minutes if he wants to go long. But what's his lap times like, Matt?
Mid to high 55s at the minute. He's done a 55.5 on lap 25. I'm just going to wait for the screen to update with Overtaker's 25th lap. There you go. Overtaker matched that, but don't forget his whole first sector was compromised because of fighting De Bont.
Yeah. So
he was still a little quicker by a couple of hundredths, but not. You know, he was fighting with another car. De Bont did a 56.3. You know, Dan was a 55.5. Rosowski a 55.8. Williams a 57.5. McGowan's a 55.0. McGowan's not got the outright pace today, but you know, we'll see what he can do. Matt Wright's 5 seconds behind Cardno. Cardno's on a 56.5. Matt Wright a 55.9. I don't think Mike took tyres because his last lap was a 57.2. So,
yeah. So Overtaker's now got Patrick Ledger in front of him. Patrick running extremely well at this whole meeting. He's been quick all the way through. So, I mean, he's looking good for the gold class win. But, hey, you'd rather be on a podium, wouldn't you?
I mean, this season, yeah, obviously with the fact it's an overall championship, yeah, you'd still want to take them podiums. Obviously, there's nothing in it for class wins. It's just a class win. That, you know, there's going to be discussions to be had for next season in terms of the classes and in terms of what we want to do. Williams has just had a massive wiggle. It would not comply and turn into the right-hander. McGowan goes through, and that's what I mean. Look, his tyres gone where his car didn't want to turn into that right-hand bend. McGowan then has just gone deep at the next corner. And, so did McGowan change tyres? We didn't really see his pit stop, although he was ahead of Ledger, so I'd assume McGowan did take tyres.
Yeah. They're going side by side. The way McGowan went off track, I thought he'd let him back through for some reason, but as he's fighting him, I wouldn't say he did. He just went wide as they go second to last corner. They go side by side again.
Oh, look at that McLaren just grip there.
Oh, yeah. Williams just got dangerously close to him. McGowan with better traction there, and he's got the job done. Williams flashing his lights at him. I don't know if that was
that a little naughty at the final corner? Maybe
maybe Williams is saying that's a little bit rude, or maybe he was just saying I really like your livery.
Here we go. Look, Patrick Ledger last lap 55.5. Overtaker 54.6. 9/10 of a second taken out. O'Reilly's lapping 55.2. We'll keep an eye on these lap times. Williams down in the 50... Oh, that's last lap. Sorry, waiting for that to update. 58.4 for Williams. But obviously he did have a massive sort of going wide and not turning in, and round it goes. And
too deep, too fast into that corner.
Yeah.
Lost the back end all by himself, and he's going to have an unsafe rejoin if he's not careful. Lets Cardano through. Wasn't the end of the world, that one, but yeah, don't crash into any car that says AS in it at any point. Williams again, back here. He's having an absolute nightmare now. Just all by himself.
Tyres.
On traction, yeah. Look like the tyres are absolutely shot. You know, wouldn't be no good on the Jazz Type R.
And you've got to think the moment you've had one spin and they've got hot with 35 degrees track temp, they'll be screaming at you. So if the grip's already going, you know, it's going to be gone by the time you try and rejoin. So yeah, not good for Williams. We have all done it. Yeah. Not good for Williams. Yeah. He's now on the ahead of Class. Class actually having a look to make a move at the inside, and Class has got past him. Overtaker. 2.1 seconds to Ledger off the last sector. Ledger's just exited the final corner. Overtaker now exits the final corner. What will the gap be at the line? Ben and O'Reilly still to pit. The gap Ledger to Ben is 18 seconds. Sorry, Ben to O'Reilly is 18 seconds. Ledger to Ben not coming up yet because the first sector's only a short one. But Overtaker 1.8. So what did he take out of Ledger there? Near enough, what, half a second, 6/10 again?
Yeah,
he's in that sector alone.
The really interesting thing now is we've only got two people who haven't pitted, and that's obviously first and second now. That's O'Reilly and Rook. They're going for the very long, because they've only got 10 minutes, 11 minutes or so before they have to serve their pit stops. They're going for the long run. Where is that going to drop them in the pack? That's going to be the interesting thing. You know, I'm backing Patrick Ledger for a podium. I'd love to see it, not only because I'm his team boss, as Williams comes under. Rob Ramsdell has just gone round Williams down the start-finish straight and drove right past him. Williams definitely struggling with these tyres.
He's got damage on the front end as well, Kelly. He's had a couple
lifted. Yeah, he's having a couple of knocks into the wall as well. So this is going from bad to worse for Williams. In a minute, he won't even be in the points. So it's turning into a bit of a disaster. As I said, what's going to be? I'm hoping that Patrick puts this on the podium. I'd love to see him do it, but I think Overtaker is an inevitable. He's going to catch him. He's going to pass him. It's what the top two do.
Oh, Williams got drive-through penalty now to add insult to injury. Williams with a drive-through penalty. Dan's on the back of De Bont. Two drivers who we believe didn't change tyres in this race.
I thought Dan was catching him.
Yeah, he's right on the back of him. We'll keep our eyes on that Overtaker fight at the moment. Took a second out to Ledger last time around. We'll see what he does this time around. He's also taking chunks out of Ben and O'Reilly's times as well. So at the minute, Overtaker just flying in this race. Dan getting close to De Bont in this one. Overtaker's within 7/10 of Ledge. We'll just stick with Dan as he comes in towards turn one.
De Bont's signalling again.
Yeah, maybe he's got a problem. Yeah, so De Bont not fighting that one. Lets him go. What about really Ledger and Overtaker? Oh, Ledger wiggle there for Ledger. Are the tyres going?
Could be. I really must assign some buttons. I want indicators. Not that I get around to. Don't you just miss Project Cars for the headlight flash?
No, because I only have to push the button once now, and it'll flash like 6 times. I got to repeat.
Yeah, I know, but you can't. I was going to say, as you were a keen flasher,
careful now.
Don't interpretate that at home as anything more than Matt likes to flash his lights. But don't you think with the and an indication from Ledger as well, he's not going to fight Overtaker. No, he's going to let him go. He's going to let him go. Gives him the overtaking signal on the wrong side, but but never mind. That must be wired wrong, that Lamborghini. Anyway, Overtaker makes easy work of Patrick Ledger. Patrick knows he's in this fight. O'Reilly's in. This will be interesting.
So this is now the fight to see what will happen in this race. A pit stop for Splash and Dash around here.
Got to be. He ain't going to take tyres.
It's 35 seconds for 1 litre of fuel. So let's see what will happen in this one. Ben carries on his way. And O'Reilly not yet gone green. Overtaker's coming up to the penultimate corner. O'Reilly goes green now. 13 minutes left in this race. Has O'Reilly pulled it off? Or is Overtaker going to do it? He is out in front. He's off the limiter and he's away.
He's got
now
track
it's a
position.
matter of O'Reilly keeping them tyres in check. 13 minutes gone. 13 minutes left in this race. Stardog moving right out the way. Does not want to get involved in that one at all. And the gap overtake to O'Reilly, it's not 43 seconds. We'll have to wait for Sector 1. So O'Reilly's just come out of the pits. So it didn't click on straight away. So we'll just wait for overtaker to get out the pits.
I think O'Reilly could do. I know O'Reilly could do this. I know he could, but can he? Ben hasn't stopped yet, but I don't think he's going to come out right at the sharp end.
No, I don't think Ben's going to be ahead of overtaker in this one.
No, this still puts Patrick Ledger in the box seats for a podium at the moment. He was fighting McGowan, but McGowan went a long way down after his pit stop. Now Dan has brought himself up into 4th place in this race. Early pit stop, we know he was way down, and what was he, 12th? We're thinking 11th, 12th, 13th, something like that on his pit stop, and did kept the tyres in check. We're now getting to the sharp end of the race. We've got 12 minutes left, so we're getting to the sharp end. These tyres are going to be very well worn, and who can keep it all together? But at the moment, looking good for Patrick Ledger, and looking good for Dan Davis for a good solid result. But who's going to win this one? It's between Overtaker and O'Reilly. And can Overtaker, has he taken too much out of his tyres? Has he still got that pace that he's had all evening? You don't think so? You think he has? You think he's got plenty of tyre life?
If he's changed tyres, he was still comfortable to O'Reilly in that first stint. He's not going to have taken any. He'd be fine.
What does O'Reilly normally do? Does he tend to take tyres? He doesn't, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Is he just real good knowledge of this car? He knows what he can do with this car, and can he just?
I think the best strategy is to go 100 litres. I think that is the best strategy. But there's times where you've got to look at the track, and if the tyres start to drop off, we've seen Williams go round, we've seen Ledger have a few wiggles and a few snaps. Dan got past the bonnet and he's not pulled away. I think normal tracks, Kelly, normal temperatures, I think fill up, go, would be my strategy.
One set of tyres.
I'd have taken tyres here tonight.
Right. I was choosing this as one of the races I was going to do this season, and I jumped off it because I just couldn't get the car to do what I wanted it to do. If I was in a full season, I might well have been with you on that one, because I just don't think I can make the tyres last.
You've got to think as well, is if you're struggling in that car to handle it come that halfway stage of the race, if you practice a half stint and you're struggling at the end of that half stint on tyre life, well then it's obvious on race night you've got to take tyres. If you've practiced a full stint and can do it, to which Dan and O'Reilly and Ledger and DeBont have obviously practiced, then fantastic. I don't think Mike's taken tyres. Yeah, Mike was one of the guys before going on air that was going to take tyres.
Yeah.
And look at him, he's P11, and he's just going to get swamped by Harris now. He's got 4 seconds back to Ramsell.
Yeah.
He could end up down the order a little bit.
Here we are. We're not. If O'Reilly does it, then he will take the race win by doing it on one set of tyres. But different drivers, different ways of driving. So some people are good on their tyres, some aren't. Drive through 59.
Second drive through for Steve Millington.
Oh well, he's collecting them. At least he'll have the best amount of drive throughs for the day. But as I said, I probably would have taken tyres. But here's the thing: I'm not O'Reilly or Dan or DeBont, so
I just think that tyres was the way to go tonight.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Matt. But as I agree with, generally across the season, one set of tyres, 100 litres, go.
I think Mazzano could have been another tyre change track. I do. I think.
Do we think Suzuka's going to be a problem?
No, it's not night race.
Because it might be wet. Oh, night race, and it might be wet as well, mightn't it?
Yeah, but even if it's dry, I think night race, cool temperature, and it's only going to get colder as the race goes on, not hotter. Laguna, I think could be a similar thing. Night race. Snetterton, I think it just depends on what the British weather's going to be. Whereas then you've got Valencia, which is a motorbike circuit. The corners are designed more for motorbikes than race cars, you know, and this is why people like places like Formula One don't race. I know that obviously the GTs race there, that's why it's on the game. But that's possibly why the GTs race there. It brings up a different strategy. The corners are different, like Mazzano, like here. It's not your traditional race circuit, is Valencia. It's a bike track. So I think tyres will be taken there. Valencia are going to be hot in Spain at this time of year. Laguna night race, so I don't know. I don't know with Laguna. And Donington to end. I think Donington's the same as Snet. You just don't know what you're going to get with the British weather.
It's going to be late in the summer, isn't it? So the chances are that it's not going to be overly hot. It's an evening race as well, isn't it, Donny?
Donny's also so Donny will be a no-go.
Yeah. Well, that's the strategy I'm practicing, is one set of tyres. So, but that's my default anyway. So we will see. But in this race, how are we getting on? Overtaker is still 15 seconds behind O'Reilly, and Harris is now going up the inside of Mike Matthews, and has got a job done by the looks of it. Cuts across the nose a little bit. I think he understeered out that way, but
look at this. Look, I think Williams was in the pits for a while. I think he changed his tyres or repaired the damage, and now look, he looks racy.
He might as well have given it a respray. The way he was going, wasn't he? Not a great night for Williams. Normally rock solid and got that Merc totally under control, but tonight not so much so. And we all have our bogey tracks, so
Ramsell's also taken half a second out of Mike. We'll see what the gap is since Harris has just got past him. Ramsell possibly taking tyres over Mike Matthews in this race. That gap to Mike's down to 2.7, so he's coming at him. Overtake to O'Reilly. We was told the gap's not really changed from 15 seconds, so maybe has Overtaker settled for that?
I don't know. What's his lap times like? Is he still banging in good lap times?
He was actually a tenth slower than O'Reilly last lap. So
well, there you go. Yeah, maybe he settled in and thought, I've lost this one.
Actually, then saying that, let's negate that. Overtaker's running heavier.
Yeah.
O'Reilly's got 20 litres left in his car, or when he crossed the line on the last lap, he had 20 litres. Actually, no, he's actually same 20 litres each. So, I think I don't think Overtaker's threw this race win away. I think it's a bold strategy. No. He's also on a pad, which makes steering and tyre life harder than a wheel. Let's not forget that, So on a difficult track like this for tyres, he's on a pad, which makes it even harder for tyre life. I think he said it, didn't he, the other week on an interview? He has no option to change tyres. They don't last because he's on a controller. So, Ben's in the pits. Look, Ben's not even done his pit stop. Matt Wright, what a shame for Matt Wright. Was running in the top 9. Drive-through penalty for him. Ben's come out the pits, look, and Benny's going to be ahead of Dan Davis. And that puts Ledger onto the podium. And Ben, is he going to let Dan go? Drive through for car 48, Rizalski. Now with a drive through, so they're coming in thick and fast.
They're coming in thick and fast
actually, now then, has Overtaker had to be careful maybe because of some track limit warnings? Is that why the pace has dwindled?
Yeah, maybe, because that would really, you might as well take second place, so back out of it a little bit, be a little bit more cautious, and make sure you get it home. With 5 minutes to go and 15 seconds to make up, unless O'Reilly drops it, it's a big ask, even with worn tyres, isn't it? So, with fresher tyres, it's still a big ask. As the two Audio Sport guys, and I think it's good recovery drive from Dan, and I think good strategy from Ben. They've put themselves in a strong position.
Well, Ben and Ledger was already there. It's a good strategy from Dan. Ben and Ledger was 4th and 5th because McGowan was ahead of them two. McGowan's down in... Where is McGowan? He's 8th. I think this is a good strategy from Dan, as he is side by side with Ben to the outside of his corner. I'd back out of that one, Dan, because that one may not work. And if you're on tight track limit warnings, that was close to Audio Sport taking each other out there.
I had visions of Neil and Shedden.
I knew you was going to say that.
I know I was going to say.
I knew you was going to say that.
I stood there and saw exactly where they went off. I think it still even said Honda there on the floor somewhere. Right past Knickerbrook.
Well past Knickerbrook. Is it the final corner?
It's the final corner. Yeah. I just had to get the word Knickerbrook in because I've seen the Brook. It's great.
Cardno struggling in this one now. He's been passed by Harris and been dropped by Harris. He's got Mike catching him, who's got Ramsell catching him. Still just under 4 minutes left. I think we've got about 2 laps left in this race. The next one and one after. Where is O'Reilly? Yeah, O'Reilly's.
I tell you what,
have another one after that.
I tell you what, Patrick Ledger isn't a million miles away from overtaker. You know.
Yeah, I think he ain't
going to do anything with it.
No, I think Taker's settled.
I think he has. I think he's settled in and bringing it home. I mean, 3 minutes to go. What's he think he's going to achieve? You know, with 3 minutes to go. But just Patrick Ledger there. Look, I'm having a real nightmare for driver of the day. I tell you. Everyone in the chat saying about team rules, audio sport rules. No, we haven't got. We've got blue and white rules because we haven't got papaya ones. Yeah, no, they're free to race. They're free to race. I have no say on it. I am the Dietrich Mateschitz of this organisation. I get no say in it. I don't team manage. I just sign the checks. That's all I do. So I get no say in team orders. So they're there to race each other, but hopefully they don't take each other out. We're in the sharp end now. A couple of minutes left of this race. It's got to be said. Look like Kieran O'Reilly's going to have this done. As I said, I'm real struggling now for driver of the day. You know,
I've got mine with an honourable mention.
I've certainly got an honourable mention. Well, I've got but I can't just quite decide on exactly who it's going to be. It might be
Ramsell's now. I've
biased.
just noticed Ramsell's got himself a drive-through, so he's got Goudet catching the back of him, and now has a drive-through. So Ramsell, who was gaining on Cardno and gaining on Mike, that's a top 12, top 10 possibly gone out the window for Rob Ramsell there, and he's now got Goudet, who's going to. John would be silly to make a move if you ask me, because he doesn't need to do anything stupid when Rob's got that drive-through penalty, although Rob's got to do it pretty soonish. O'Reilly started, I haven't seen it say last lap of the race.
No.
So we could be in for one more after this.
Yeah, well, I think we would be, wouldn't we?
Dan has a look on Ben and tucks back in. I think Dan's going to hold station to Rook here.
You would have thought so, again.
Dan's that kind of guy that Ben's done the hard work in this race, where Dan struggled early on, that Dan's not going to take the work Ben's done away from him. I wouldn't have said. Yeah, we say that, and then they're probably going to clatter into each other. He's crawling all over
the back of him. Yeah, he's crawling all over the back of him at the moment. So, yeah, they might just be having fun, and I do hope so. And I mean, fourth or fifth isn't going to make an awful lot of difference.
John did pass Rob.
He went. Rob went wide. Rob went wide and went off track. So Dan now flashing his lights at Ben.
Yeah, Dan will be mucking around. Yeah, that's not a serious flash of the lights. We know from Dan when he's playing and when it's a serious flash of the lights.
This is what I was saying earlier. It's not easy. He has another look on the outside. But I do think he's playing. And I was saying earlier, I miss the lights from Project Cars, because when you press the light, it just does a sequence flash. You can't do an angry flash, and you can't do a right on mate flash, can you? You can tell the difference.
But then you can't get in trouble for overly aggressive flashing anymore.
Wow. Keep pressing the button, I suppose.
There we go.
But I'm with you on this one. Last lap for the leader. I'm with you on this one. I don't flashing your lights. There shouldn't be a rule against it. You can flash your lights as much as you like. If you're in the car in front and you're stupid enough to be distracted by someone flashing their lights, then more for you. You know?
Yeah.
It's all part of racing, if you ask me. But there you go. There you go.
Ben is sweating because of the pressure from Dan. I don't think Ben needs to. I don't think Dan's actually going to make a lunge
unless
on this lap.
Up, of course.
Mike Mathews on the back of Cardno. That'll be for a top 10 finish for Mike. In fact, Mike has got past Cardno for a top 10 finish. So see what Goudet can do. They're on. No, they're coming to the back end. So they've still got a full lap to go. Dan and Ben. Would Dan take this away from Ben for P4 and 5? I mean, it's not going to make a difference to the teams, but it'll make a huge. It could make it could have all the implications for that drivers' championship. Well, you say you don't see the point.
No, I don't see the point. What, bragging rights? Really? Did Dan have to do that?
I just know, but I think it pulls Dan close. They're going to lose out to O'Reilly. Pulls Dan a bit closer to Williams, depending on what points are scored here for Williams. And it just puts Dan on the back of Ben in the Drivers' Championship. Dan's going to want to go for number 11. Yeah, he has. Inside line. Is he fully got it? I don't know. We're going to have to turn to O'Reilly in a moment. They're side by side. Ben's still there on the inside line.
Keep an eye on it.
I'm going to stay with it for a moment. I've got my eye on the track map for O'Reilly. Dan's going to be forced wide. Ben brakes a bit harder. Dan very, very wide.
Off
Get that
track.
back in.
No,
My days. What would have been dramatic there? What would have been... They have it. They have touched. Hip and shoulder. Dan does not want to go off the circuit here and pick up a track limits, but O'Reilly comes to the final corner. The strategy has worked out for him in this race, and he's going to take yet another win. He's going to extend his championship lead, and the underpowered Honda wins at Paul Ricard. Overtaker, great strategy. The one I'd have picked. Second place with a fastest lap. Top job from him. Patrick Ledger in the background looking like he's going to get his first proper podium of the season. And what a drive from Ledger. Overtaker though, great stuff from him. Real top job from Overtaker today. Patrick Ledger, P3. Dan Davis did get ahead of Ben Rook in the end for 4th and 5th. De Bont P6. McGowan then we just await for P7.
Yes, indeed, and I'm quite surprised in those two, but they obviously decided they were going to race each other. So there you go, Patrick Ledger on the podium. That's brilliant, absolutely fantastic.
You say you're surprised. I'm really not. Dan wants number 11. Dan wants to start to claw points back, and I'm not surprised. Dan has done that job there. I think fair play.
Yes, indeed. But they're doing celebratory donuts. I'm on board with Ben, so I'm getting dizzy. So I'm going to move off, Ben.
Well, McGowan 7th, Rosowski 8th. Here comes Michael Harris for 9th. Mike Matthews is going to come over and take a P11 here.
I think that's a strong result from Mike. He was very unconfident, but he's kept it all on the track. Didn't have any drive-through penalties. Just run his race. 10th place. I don't think that's the end of the world.
No, I tend to agree with you there. If I'm going to be honest, I tend to agree with you. Has John run out of fuel?
John's in the pits. So,
yeah, he hasn't taken
maybe.
And will not take the checkered flag.
Oh.
So John is fortunate that he was a lap ahead of Stardog. John will not take the checkered flag in this race.
How does that work?
Well, he's run out of fuel.
Yeah, but how does that throw? Does that leave him?
So because he wouldn't have crossed...
Position?
Yeah, so he will be 16th because he was a lap ahead of Stardog.
Right. Oh, right, okay. Okay, well, there we are. Who have we got left on track?
Nobody, that's it. We've just got to wait for... Because John's had to pit. Yeah. We've just got to wait for John at the end. So Mr. Nicky Lauda impersonator runs out of fuel today. Good job he didn't do that on his 200th race appearance, because that would have been a little embarrassing to run out of fuel on a 15-minute race. He did it on his 201st race, which gives Rob Ramsell that place back that John had got ahead of, and he got ahead of Matt Wright because of Matt Wright's drive-through. But yeah, interesting one to see. So Matt Wright was up 14th. Let's go and save the highlights. And while we do, let's go over to the Discord chat and go and speak with the interview results, the interview drivers, the podium drivers. Yeah, that one.
That'll be
Glad the setup helped.
I believe we are now live.
Oh, they're all queued up in here. Matt.
We are indeed. Right, so the screen on the display on the screen, obviously the patrons. Big thank you to them. Big shout out to everybody who's a patron of the channel. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do some of this work.
My driver of the day, I find it extremely difficult. I think Overtaker's had an absolutely fantastic evening. He had the pace of the field tonight. But I'm going to give my driver of the day to Patrick Ledger this evening. I think he was absolutely awesome tonight, and definitely punching above his weight well into the platinum group, and good all night. So for me, Patrick Ledger is my driver of the day.
There we go. I'm going to go the way of Overtaker because I think he's had.
I think you're quite right to do that.
For the stream, I've just said Overtaker because I didn't unmute the right one. I'm going to go with Overtaker. I think he's had a cracking night. So first and a second fastest lap, with an honourable mention to Patrick Ledger because Ledger's had a great night. and great pace throughout. Who do we have in this box? Who's lovely enough to join us in here? We've got O'Reilly, we've got Overtaker, we've got Ledger, we've got Dan. Right, let's start with Ledger.
Okay, lucky me. Patrick, well done this evening. Great result for the team. You've got plenty of Skittles coming your way at your end of year bonus. Tell us a little bit. You've looked quick all evening. Tell us a little bit about your evening and what's been good for you.
To be honest, I think everything has been good for me. With the new sprint format, I unfortunately cannot retain my reputation as a sprint merchant.
Yeah.
But I think P10 for P18 is a very good result indeed.
Yeah.
And I think having my best qualification being fourth with just a couple of tenths away from pole. And then capitalize it on being third, by beating the guys like De Bond and then Davies on merit. I mean, it felt really good, and I really screwed my long out when I crossed the line, and Dan can confirm that. And yeah, massive thanks to Dan Davies to ask me to join his team, and he really helped me out a lot, and I can't wait to keep working with him. Massive shout out to him as well.
Yeah, he's a great team manager, isn't he? I mean, the team boss is even better, but yeah, he's a great manager. Patrick, as I said, you've been fast all night. Have you found a little something in your driving, or does Paul Ricard just suit you? Do you like it, or what's with this pace?
I basically keep on working with the setups that I've been given by Dan and his crew and tweaking it to my liking. And I feel like race by race it goes slightly better and better. 2 weeks ago, finally I kept cool, didn't make any silly mistakes. And this week I built upon that and even got me a podium, which I'm gladly taking, even though it was a bit surprising, but I take it.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say I was surprised. As I said, I think your pace has been really good all night, and you've been kind of threatening it all night, which is a great result. Where do we go next, Matt? All right, Suzuka, night race Suzuka as well. So we move on to Suzuka. Patrick, what are your thoughts for that? Are you a fan of Suzuka? Do you think you can do well in the night?
Yeah, I think definitely I can do well in the night. Suzuka, I love the track. I even understood that there will be a lot of rain there, so I'm really looking forward to have a wet race finally. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we look forward to seeing you there, and well, I'm hoping it's rain, so it could be interesting. So great result this evening, and congratulations on a good evening.
Thank you, mate.
No problem.
We'll chat with Dan, seeing as Dan was second in race 2. We'll get the 2 race winners after that. Dan, race 2, great start really, wasn't it? That put you in a prime position to attack.
Do you mean race 1?
Race 1. Yeah. Yep.
Kind of was shocked to see that I was fourth. Obviously, with the standings being the way they are, I thought I'd be a little bit further back, but not a lot of platinums tonight, so it kind of worked in my favour. I would say I got quite lucky at the start, caught Clouden and De Bont out, and then at that point, me and Overtake have been in the test sessions together pretty much all week long, and we've been there or thereabouts swapping lap times. He's just had the edge, I think, thanks to that the pace of the Mustang. But either way, it was a good race, solid points, and I'm just happy to get a podium on the cards again and slowly work my way onto O'Reilly. I think it's still a tall order, but every point counts here at the minute.
Like you said, a few platinums missing tonight, but we've had that extra week of practice, haven't we, for Paul Ricard? And has that kind of played dividends, the fact that you've...
Not particularly. I found that if I test too much, it actually hindered me more. So I kind of took the week off with the Xbox boys, took my time, found a setup. Actually, Cobb, I need to make Tom Cardinal, I have to give him a shout out because he found a setup, and I just kind of evolution of that setup, and thanks to him, was able to have this beautiful setup, which pretty much I think all the boys were running at the end of the day. So showed our pace we had in the Lamborghini, and it was just solid job tonight.
It was an interesting race 2. Qualifying kind of put you out of position, didn't it? in the second race, and bit of contact at the start. You know, you had a moment with Harris in that race where you had a bit of a spin, just a bit of a nice.
I knew I had the pace. I mean, first things first, the qualifying really buggered me. I went out too late in the group of the pack and just can't get temperature, can't get pressures, and then everyone else is messing about, slowing down in the final sector. So you kind of lose half the session anyway. So it's, just bad on my point, knowing that was going to happen. But hey-ho, 10th. Contact, and just a silly spin watching Harrison. I can't remember who it was, possibly McGowan, I can't remember who, watching them have their moment, and I ended up kind of doing the same, not with them, but kind of just having my own moment. So, but no, I knew I had the pace. I was doing 54s, 55s with full fuel, so I was happy with the pace. So I was just knocking down and just chasing the Bont, and I knew if I could use him as a guide, we could slowly work our way up. And next thing you know, I'm up in 5th and up the backside of my teammate, which was pleasantly surprised. So shout out to Ben as well. He was very fair and respectful, even though we had a moment together.
Yes, you did. I wanted to just ask you about that one, Dan. I said on stream that I thought you two were just messing about and just having fun, but obviously that was serious and you went at it. Was that the case, that you were, that it was serious, or did Ben just kind of let you off in the end?
Well, like McLaren, we don't have papaya rules. No,
I did say that as well. Yeah.
We're both in the championship hunt. We still can catch O'Reilly, the pair of us. So it is still both on for both of us. So it was, the Bont weren't catching us. Ledger had secured his 3rd place. So it's just, let's go at it. Let's see who actually is the number one. And for a moment, I thought he had me, but he made one slight mistake, and that was it. I had him. But he's come on strides, has Ben, and this season he's really outdone me. So, it was just a good laugh. We weren't being silly. We were dead serious. We had a moment at the fast right-hander, but it was good fun, and he's a good boy. You can go wheel to wheel with him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it looked clean and fair. You had a little bit of a touch, and I had a reference to Alton Park and some Hondas, like I would. It looked pretty good. The other thing I was going to ask you, Dan, at the beginning of the evening, you were dead set that not taking tyres was the best way to go this evening. It was mad to do anything else. Do you still stand by that? You didn't take tyres, did you?
Nope, I still stand by it. Although Overtaker did get second, O'Reilly proved it as well. You just don't take tyres. Even though the tyres are dying and screaming, the setup that we had was nice on the tyres. So it was just a waste of time, in my opinion.
Right. Okay, yeah, absolutely. And as you say, it worked for and it put you up the order from where you pitted. So, fair play. And, a bit of each their own, isn't it? Some people can make it work, some people can't. Suzuka next week, Dan. In the rain. All I'm going to say is Overtaker doesn't like me at Suzuka. Every time he's gone for pole, I've nabbed it off him. So, Suzuka, rubbish track to race at. Good fun to do a hot lap in, but wet weather, I'm confident if it's wet. Suzuka again is a circuit that I don't hate, but I don't love at the same time. And at the night as well, with rain, it's just going to be chaos. I feel brave for the people who are doing onboards, because that's just ludicrous. I'm going to stick to my bonnet view. And we'll just see what we can do and try and claw our way slowly at O'Reilly's lead if we can. Good luck with that. Congratulations, Dan, on a good night's racing.
Cheers, and again, shout out to Ledger. Solid job tonight. He's done the team proud. And also Overtaker for a phenomenal job, and O'Reilly once again just being mad in the Honda.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well done, Dan, on tonight's race. We've got O'Reilly. We'll go to O'Reilly. Overtaker obviously got the double podium in the race win. Kieran, race 2, no tyres. Got the jump on Overtaker, but that Honda just on it.
Yeah, to be fair, even though there was a lot of sort of driving around on my own, I'd say I'm probably the happiest with tonight because, well, for one, just hardly any testing at all. So I was a little bit nervous going into tonight because that right hand at the end of the back straight is just deadly. So yeah, through obviously had a bit of a mess about with the setup and come with something that felt nice, and just I couldn't work out at the start whether Overtaker was like half and half or taking tyres, and then I soon figured out the way he was pulling on me that he's probably gone down that route. So just saved the tyres in the first sort of stint. Just looked after them, made sure they were good for the last stint, and then come out the pits and just floored it then.
Now, with the Honda losing 38 kilograms, we kind of look at the BOP and kind of get a rough idea of what cars look good, what cars look okay, and what cars look like they're going to struggle. How was the Honda? 38 kilograms is a lot to lose. We don't really see that on the cars unless it's an older of the cars. One of the sort of. How was?
Overall, I mean, it feels very light, and that's what I was a bit worried about that, because it seems like a lot to lose, and that's coming from me racing it, So yeah, I had to obviously get to grips with it a bit, but I think that maybe helped it with straight line speed, because the Honda's very quick coming out of corners, but top end it just seems to sort of drag a bit. So I think that maybe helped with that, and overall it felt pretty good. It felt pretty good, to be fair. Yeah. It was a bit sketchy coming into the right-hander. There is obviously a name for it, but I don't know what it is.
None of us do.
Yeah, so I just call it the right-hander. So yeah, obviously that was just basically the sketchiest point. The Honda, if you can get it dialed in, flies everywhere else in twisty sections and stuff. And if I'm honest, it's just a joy to drive. I just love racing it. So overall, yeah, it felt good.
I took several notes from that, Kelly. Joy to drive. Felt really good.
Got that.
Honda's the best car ever. We go to Suzuka next week.
I got all that as well.
The home of Honda next week, O'Reilly. Obviously, you say about the lack of the drag in that Honda and it gets to top speed. You're used to that on a Tuesday night. You're used to it on a Thursday night. But home of the Honda, what can we do at Suzuka?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, it's a night race. So it's going to be tough, but we're all in the same boat, so we've all got.
You might well be.
Yeah,
well,
so
we've got sad news about that.
It's a track that I enjoy driving. Obviously, never driven the Honda there before, so could do with obviously jumping on and getting a few laps in. But I'm feeling pretty confident. Seem to have got the consistency up now, and that's what I'm focusing on now. Is the feature races. Obviously, the reverse grids are very nice if you can get up there, but the feature races, it's the most rewarding. It's nice to bring it home. So yeah, like I say, home of the Honda as well. Got to do it proud. Can't let it down. So yeah, like I say, hopefully it's just another good run next week.
Okay, and congratulations on the race win.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, well done. We'll see you next week in the Genesis, first of all. And we go to Overtaker, who 3 sprint wins in a row, gets a podium in the second race with the fastest lap. We gathered that he took tyres because he was rapid at the end. Overtaker, that was just really an all-round pretty good night, wasn't it? You had the pace. You was pretty quick from the get-go in the second race.
Yeah, thanks. I guess I've ticked all the boxes, bar one, so I managed to take the sprint win, managed to take my first pole position, managed to take fastest lap. There's only feature race win that's left to get it, so I'm going to try to do it as well this season, but it's going to be hard with this format for me because I'm harsh on tires, and I tried something different because I qualified P1 and I could just put fastest lap after the fastest lap, but it wasn't quite enough at the end. This 27 gap that you're losing with taking tires was just too big for me today.
Now, obviously, for the viewers at home, with you running on the controller, that obviously is going to hurt the tyres more than a steering wheel user. You're not as smooth on the controller as the steering wheel. So it's pretty much, you're on the back foot with a 70-minute race, aren't you, in terms of really having...
Yeah, exactly, but I knew that when we were going into the season. And couple first races, I've tried to stick it out with all tires, but I mean, I think it's good on race pace, but it's not as fun for me. I like the challenge, I like the overtakes, so I'm quite happy with taking P2 at the end. I had to do a lot of overtakes, which was fine. So
yeah, it was great pace and great moves. Probably the move of the week, the double overtake on Dan and Ricard down the back straight. Heck of a move into the right-hander. We go to Suzuka.
Thanks.
As Dan said.
That was nice because I sent my love to him because I kind of boxed him behind. I don't know, it was the BMW, I think. So I took the double slipstream and then some side draft as well, and it was quite funny to watch it.
We obviously go to Suzuka. Dan's mentioned that he's pipped you to pole a few times around there. You've got history with Dan at Suzuka. What can we do next week?
I absolutely love the track. I think it's the best one there is. So, yeah, I've got high hopes. I'm always quick there, but the others, the O'Reilly especially, and then these two are going to be fast. I don't know what about MSA guys. When they're here, they're fast as well. So I'm gonna give it my best for this season. Yeah, like you asked Ben, it actually helped me that we postponed it for a bit because I could do a bit of preparation finally, and it paid off. So I'm gonna try to do the same for Suzuka.
Well, congratulations on tonight. Great results.
Well done.
P1 pole position, P2, and a couple of fastest laps to your name as well. That is it, though, Kelly, for tonight. That's it for Paul Ricard. Patrick Ledger gets the
before we go
for driver of the day. Yep, go on.
Yes, Patrick Ledger, driver of the day, better than a win. Just side note. Myself a Honda Jazz, local to me on Facebook, £500. I think that looking like a prime contender for the Jazz R KD edition. What do you think?
Well, considering that Dan's had a few car problems, I think that could be. We've mentioned Christmas. That could be a Christmas present for Dan.
Absolutely.
A nice Honda Jazz at £500. What more would you like better than a Honda Jazz at Christmas?
And it's perfect. It's already in hearing aid beige colour, so brilliant. You know,
I'd rather drive a Ford.
Behave yourself.
There we go. Patrick Ledger, the fans vote for driver of the day. Kelly and myself.
Yes, absolutely.
And to overtake us, so a split vote for the commentators. Dan's getting a Honda Jazz for Christmas. I'm now incredibly jealous.
Type R, KD edition.
KD edition, yes.
It's a Ford.
I'm now incredibly jealous. But we move to Suzuka. We go to the home of Honda next week, where sad news.
And it's raining.
No, sad news. Mike's just sent me the weather, and it's now just cloudy. While you was interviewing Ledger, I've checked the weather. It's absolutely steaming down during the day. During the night,
it's a week yet.
It's clear, but we've got a week.
Well, when does it get locked in? When does it get locked in?
So it will be locked in for Ginettas on Monday, Pro-Am on Tuesday, and Wednesday which will be locked in for Pro. So we've got till Wednesday. Touch wood, everybody. Fingers crossed.
Oh, come on, let's have a storm. We need a good wet race.
We need a good wet race. Either way, the home of the Honda is next before we go to Spooky Laguna, which will sadly not have Kelly in the box for that one. He's away for that.
I'll be spookily missing.
Snetterton, Valencia, and Donington. But the tyre change once again was the hot topic of today's programme. And once again, it was a driver without the tyre change who took the win. O'Reilly on top. I tell you what we've not done. We didn't do the mid-session tables. So let's do the end of session tables. It's Kieran O'Reilly who leads the way from Ben Rook. 61 points is the gap. So that has gone up quite a bit. But hotting up in P2. Ben Rook P2, 61 points behind. Williams P3, 64 points behind. Dan Davis P4, 66 points behind. Then it's Carlos in 5th with Sylph in 6th. Overtaker is in 7th from McGowan, DeBont, Jamal Clouden, Hoopert, Matt Wright, who leads the way in gold by 4 points over his teammate Mike Matthews. They are switching every single week. Tardock is 14th with Patrick Ledger up into 3rd in gold and 15th overall. Then it's Hibbs, Van Zyl, Harris, Goudet, Snye, Smith, Skunky, Cardno, Ramsel, Cairns, Stardock, Class, Hoffer, Millington, Rozalski, and then Hayho. Constructors' Championship, though, has been tipped on its head. Team Audio Sport lead the way by 14.
Sorry.
We are meant to be unbiased in this commentary.
Oh, yeah, of course, absolutely unbiased.
We are meant
Go
to be
on.
unbiased. Audio Sport, 46 point clear of Yin Yang Racing. Dapper Racing
Yes!
down to
Yin Yang.
third, 130 points behind with Cloud9 Racing in P4. MSA are fifth ahead of SimPlay Racing. Then it's Team GBR, Greasy Bandits, Team RRM, AS Racing, Utopia Motorsport, Roadrunner Motors, Quantum Motorsport, Full Send Fjord Laws, Afrikaans Racing, and Effect Motorsport. That is it. That is all we have time for. We'll be back on Tuesday evening. Just Dan Davis in the box. Alex Marshall will not be here for this one, so Dan will be in the box for the Who Darren Cup as they head to Suzuka. O'Reilly with a commanding lead in that one and can pretty much start to think of one. He's pretty much got one hand on that title. It is all but done. We then go to Pro-Am. Langley and Vitus fighting it out. A great scrap there. 61 points separate them two. But the Lexuses of 4Q Motorsport, Greaves and Fandango all lurking in the background. And then in Pro, next Thursday, Dan will bring you the Pro-Am action on Wednesday night, and me and Kelly will be back for Pro on Thursday, where it's 66 points separating the top four. It couldn't be closer at the moment. What a day this could be. We'll all be back next week. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and hit the bell to be notified, as well as checking out the description where you can find our fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport. We'll see you in a week's time. Paul Ricard in the books. Suzuka next. Goodbye.